Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Welcome in to College Football Pregame here on CBS Sports HQ. We've got Danny Cannell, Bryant McFadden. I'm Emily Proud, and look who's back, Damian Harris. We missed you last week.
It feels so good to be back.
You look a little tired, though. You look a little tired. You getting any sleep?
You had a good excuse, though.
Listen, okay, yes. It's no. Oh, there's my boy. There's my boy. Listen, Golden West Harris was welcomed to the world on Thursday of last week.
Love it.
And first and foremost, I got to say, what a blessing to have another king born into our family.
Nice.
And even more so, what a blessing it is to have a queen at home to take care of these beautiful children, to raise these young kings, to keep me steady, to allow me to come and have the opportunity to work with you guys.
Amen.
Like, I am a blessed individual, I tell you guys. So I'm very grateful to be here with you guys. I'm grateful for my wife at home, my kids. I'm loving life right now.
Awesome.
I'm loving life.
Some good points.
Loving life.
Golden
Great
Dame,
points.
if you guys are watching, be nice to your mom
Please,
today. All right.
please, have patience.
Let's have some fun because we've got college football on deck today. It is week 3. We've got some games to hit. How about this one? There's only one team in the country who has beaten 2 ranked teams, the South Florida Bulls, obviously. Looking to make it 3 at number 5, Miami. Danny, what do you think of Cinderella in this spot?
It's time. Does the slipper, does it fit tonight? I don't know. We'll find out because I do think the Miami Hurricanes, the best thing that happened to Mario Cristobal was what happened in Gainesville, because if there was any temptation to overlook this squad, it is eliminated now. Watch out, Carson Beck. If he has protection, I think the big plays will work for the Hurricanes. USF's going to have a tough game today.
Yeah, and the last Sunshine State squad they beat now has to limp to Death Valley to take on number 3 LSU. Damian, Gators and Tigers, what stands out?
Well, this is a season-saving opportunity for the Florida Gators. I mean, you're going into Death Valley, a ranked team, the number 3 team in the country. Garrett Nussmeier in this offense, they look unstoppable right now. Can they go into Death Valley and can they control the controllables? Can they play good football? And can they just survive another week? Because we're entering the territory that we were in last year about Billy Napier and the Florida Gators being in the same conversation.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later in the show. We've also got Tigers and Jackets. We watched this line get smaller and smaller this week. Clemson, a narrow 2.5-point favorite. The public believes in Georgia Tech, but what about you, B-Mac?
I'm kind of siding with the Fighting Dabo Sweeneys. Will the real Clemson Tigers please stand up? Right now, what we've seen in 2 weeks of play have been disappointment on either side of the football field. And when you transition to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets with Haynes King potentially back in the lineup, they love to play spoiler, and what great day it would be to have a spoiling opportunity for Clemson.
Opportunity here for Purdue to be spoiler in our Big Ten game of the week. It's a reunion of sorts for Purdue head coach Barry Odom and USC quarterback Jaden Mayava. He and the Trojans have quietly been on a tear. So, Danny, what happens in West Lafayette this afternoon?
Boy, Barry Odom has done a really nice job early, but watch out for this offense. Lincoln Riley's been known to develop quarterbacks, and Jaden Mayava has been outstanding so far. One of the most efficient quarterbacks in the country, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's a big question for me. Plus, they're a little bit physically stronger. They hired a new strength coach. Lincoln Riley's playing with a lot of confidence, but it is their first road game in West Lafayette. How do they handle that atmosphere? We shall see.
Lincoln Riley on the show later. Meanwhile, Damien, Kalen DeBoer did something Nick Saban couldn't do, beat ULM on his first try. We'll give him that. But now your tied host, Wisconsin, did not go well for Whiskey in round 1 in Madison last year. How about the rematch?
Is the tide starting to turn? That's the question that all Alabama fans are asking right now. Listen, we saw a lot of good things last weekend in Tuscaloosa. Now, will that carry over against a tougher, more competent opponent in the Wisconsin Badgers? We will see.
All right, one of 3 ranked on ranked games of the day. We've got Texas A&M at Notre Dame. We've seen the Irish in 1 game this season, and they lost it. So, Danny, what needs to happen for Notre Dame against the Aggies?
My man Chip Patterson calls this a gut check Saturday. It is gut check time for Notre Dame. Watch out for Jeremiah Love. Their running back only had 11 touches against Miami when their first opening loss. But this is their college football playoff hopes. They all fall on this game. If they fall to 0-2, they don't have any more resume builders to impress a committee which is taking into account a much more consideration for the strength of schedule. Marcus Freeman, great defensive coach. Can he slow down Marcel Reed in that Texas A&M offense? But it is must-win for the Irish.
Number 6, Georgia. Number 15, Tennessee. The last time this monster matchup was played this early in the season, Kirby Smart was a freshman DB for the Dogs. So what do we even know about these teams at this point in the season, B-Mac?
2 high-level teams in the SEC. When you talk about hostile environments, Neyland Stadium has really been unkind to opposing teams. Since the start of 2022, Tennessee, they're 21-1 at home. The first road test for Gunnar Stockton. How will he handle this atmosphere? We have to wait and see, but you better make sure you have your popcorn ready.
That one was to Georgia. Now, you can't talk about this game without flashing back to the last time Tennessee beat Georgia, 2016. Josh Dobbs with the Hail Mary to the dog. Jawan Jennings comes up and gets it. That game was on CBS. One of the most epic moments in SEC history. But it's just that. It's history. 8 straight losses for the Vols since then to the hands of the Georgia Bulldogs. And something has happened with Kirby Smart. No other coach has managed to shut down this Tennessee offense nearly as well as he has. So let's start with our defensive player. What is it that he's doing or is able to do that others just can't seem to do against this Heupel offense?
Well, when you look at Heupel's offense, it's all about up-tempo, making explosive plays. And what Kirby Smart does defensively, he loves to play what I call keeping the ceiling on the roof, right? Keeping the roof on the house, not allowing explosive plays. Because if you look at Tennessee, they don't do things the normal, generic way. 10-play drives. 8-play drives. It's usually 5 or 6 because they're taking shots down the football field. So Kirby understands if we can limit them from having the explosive plays, and what we call explosive plays of 25 yards or more, then you're making them play your style of game. And that's something that Kirby Smart has done. And slowing the game down also. That's why the running game is so impactful when you're playing against an explosive offense like Tennessee. Slow the game down. Make sure you don't allow big-time plays, and usually the game works out in your favor. And to Kirby Smart, that's why he has a great record against Tennessee.
Helps to have those good athletes that Kirby Smart has at his disposal, too, on defense. I want to show you just how lopsided this is. So you see how Tennessee does against Georgia. Not a lot of points, including a season-low 13 in 2022. That season, they averaged nearly 50 points a game with Hendon Hooker. Again, there's something that Kirby Smart is doing that other teams just haven't been able to do. Even Nick Saban gave up 52 points to this Tennessee offense. What's your take on this, Danny?
So I think Josh Heupel is a great offensive mind, and I think you made up a great point, Emily, because a lot of the teams out in the SEC and across the country that don't have the personnel that Georgia has, they have to take risks to try to get to the quarterback. And you don't have to with Georgia. They've done a great job of getting pressure with their front four, and sure, they pick their spots, but they don't have to send the house. And so at times when we've watched Tennessee quarterbacks versus this Georgia defense, they've been pressured a ton. They've taken big hits, and that will slow down any quarterback. And mentioning the personnel, it also slows down the run game. And that's probably been the biggest thing, because I think people think of Josh Heupel as just a pass-happy game play caller, but Dylan Sampson last year led the SEC in rushing. They want to run the football, but Georgia typically takes that run game away from them. Any offense, if you make it one-dimensional, good luck.
I think that's the biggest thing for Georgia's defense year in and year out. And even when I played against them in the SEC championship back in whatever year that was, they always find a way to be disruptive with only 4 or 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. They don't have to blitz a lot. They don't have to run a ton of stunts, D-lineman games, things like that, where they're trying to pick the weakest link of the offensive line. They just say, our 5 guys are better than your 5 guys, and we're going to get after your quarterback. And I think for Agalar, that's going to be a big thing today. How does he handle that pressure? Because I want to note, he has 6 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, but when you face that type of pressure that a Georgia defense can bring, that causes you to panic. That causes you to hold the ball a little bit tighter and squeeze a little bit more on some of those throws. Next thing you know, you're throwing in tight windows. Next thing you know, you're putting the ball in harm's way, and you're giving Georgia more chances on offense to score more points.
Yeah, massive position for both of these quarterbacks going into this monster game. We'll continue to break down this game throughout the show, but we got to move on to another ranked-on-ranked matchup involving an SEC team. We have Texas A&M at Notre Dame. We called it Gut Check Saturday over there with Danny.
Chip Patterson does. Give him credit.
Yeah, we got to give Chip some credit for that, but people are calling this a must-win, is it?
Yes, absolutely.
It don't get no more must-win than this.
Just for Notre Dame, though.
Just for Notre Dame, okay. Absolutely just for Notre Dame, because Texas A&M could win the SEC. Like everybody else that's in a conference. It happened to Clemson last year. They have a mulligan or a get-out-of-jail-free card to get to the playoffs. if they win their conference. Clemson was 9-3 in the regular season, but they got to the ACC championship, won that game, so they got their pass. Notre Dame doesn't have that pass. The other thing that we've talked about a lot, it's been a big talking point in the College Football Selection Committee, has been given a new point of emphasis about strength of schedule. They want to see you play against the best. And if they start 0-2, what other games impress you? Now, we'll see. They should be rooting for Arkansas to beat Ole Miss, and maybe that happens today. Maybe it doesn't, but that would at least be something. They better hope that USC is better than people think, and they could be. Boise State, though, already lost. Like, they really needed Boise State to run the table. There just aren't enough resume builders, in my opinion, for them to get in.
And to back Danny's point, looking at their schedule, if everything stayed the course as it is right now, and if they happen to lose today to A&M, the two ranked teams they faced off against, they lost.
Yeah.
That would not be good in terms of their resume to make that push if they take care of the rest of their business the rest of the way for them to get into the playoffs. So I agree. This is a must win, and you don't usually see that in week 2 for a team because they didn't play last week. But for Notre Dame, because of what happened against Miami, they have to take care of their business today. And what we saw against Miami was coaching malpractice, taking their best player out of the game. And Jeremiah Love did not make any sense. He better be featured today. He better have at least 22 touches by the end of this game if they have any aspirations to win.
Mag, you're still in my thunder because that's exactly where I was going. Jeremiah Love has to get the football today. He is a difference maker. When you look at him, when you look at his tape, when you watch him play, whether it's the contact strength, the balance, the breakaway speed, the ability to receive out of the backfield, this is a first-round NFL draft pick at running back. This is prototypical first-round pick. But again, coaching malpractice. How do you not give him 20 touches to start the season? Because we talked a lot about Riley Leonard last year and how he willed Notre Dame to the national championship. Well, if you take Jeremiah Love out of that equation, the run game is not the same. Riley Leonard doesn't get the same opportunities. And Jeremiah Love showed that he was the bell cow guy for them all throughout the playoffs whenever it was time to show up on the biggest stages. So again, if I'm Marcus Freeman, 25, maybe even 30 touches minimum, depending on how the game goes.
I was wrong. I thought he had 11 touches against Miami. He only had 10.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounded high.
CJ Carr had 11. I think you need to. And remember, they came out throwing, which I guess they were trying to get him out of get into an advantageous number in the box game, like force Miami to get out. But
we don't care, B-Mac. We don't care.
You've got to have some call and run it plays where you are just saying, I don't care how many you have in the box. We're giving the ball to our best player.
Yeah, he was a Heisman contender to start the season. People still think he is. I know. I hate to say past tense, but it's tough when you don't have a lot to do in that first game. It's easy for us to say that this is a must-win for Notre Dame, but what do the numbers say, Mackenzie Brooks?
Listen, they should treat it as a must-win because if they do lose this game, they do fall to an optimistic 10% to make the playoff. Now, if they put up awesome stats in a quote-unquote good loss, that is the 10%. If it's a bad loss, it's definitely under 10%. The reason it's not 0% the way those guys were saying is they should be able to make it as a 10-2 team if other factors outside of their control go their way. Now, no matter who you're playing, I know that schedule looked pretty easy. It's objectively hard to just win 10 straight games and go undefeated the rest of the season. So that's why it is such a low percentage to do that. What I will say for them is Notre Dame's at-large bid chances and what we learned from last year is directly correlated to how good Clemson is, how good the ACC is as a whole. Are we going to get 2 ACC teams, just 1 ACC team? Is the SEC going to beat each other up in a way of we're going to get 5 or we're only going to get 3? Will 3 SEC teams rise above the parity and the mess that you're going to see from all those tied records? So, yes, it is a very, very crucial win for them. Again, they go to literally under a 10% chance if they lose this game. I sat in the same seat after they lost to Northern Illinois last year and said it was under 10%, and we did see them there. So I want to be, a little skeptical here, but I will say it looks very, very hard for their path if they lose this.
So what is the current projection right now, the 12-team field? Is Notre Dame in that right now?
Yeah, so it's an interesting situation right now. You're going to have the 5 SEC teams. We like Georgia, Texas, LSU. Now, Ole Miss and Missouri are in there as well. Ole Miss and Missouri just with good, favorable schedules. Not necessarily a greatly power-ranked team, but with Alabama not looking so good, it leaves room for them. The reason we also have room for them is because Clemson doesn't look good. And right now, you're really probably only going to get the ACC winner. We give that to Miami right now, just edging out Clemson. So again, that's pretty much a coin flip. You got Iowa State there as well. And you have Memphis for us instead of South Florida. We do think Memphis will win that head-to-head later in the year. And remember, being that Group of 5 representative means you need to win the conference championship. So I'm all here for the South Florida love, but they do still have to go on and win the American, and that includes beating Memphis, which is a spot we don't really see them in.
Yeah, and you have Memphis in that spot in the college football playoff. So,
Disrespect.
ooh, I know the South Florida fans watching right now. I hate to draw extra attention to that, but I did happen to notice that in the projection. Another thing I noticed, you've got USC in the college football playoff. I feel like we're not talking about this team all that much. Well, don't worry, that changes today because it is big time on CBS. You could watch the Sportsline projected playoff team USC on the road at Purdue, 3:30 on CBS. We will continue breaking down all the action today, but we cannot ignore what happened last night in the sport. Should Dion Sanders be feeling the heat after a 1-2 start? Oof. We discuss.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City On. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely this will end on.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Some teams just don't want to wait until Saturday to square off. So last night, some Friday night fever action in the sport. Let's go first to Colorado at Houston. Dion turning to Ryan Staub as a starting quarterback after throwing 2 touchdowns in Colorado's Week 2 win. Houston looking to start 3-0 for the first time since 2016. Let's go to the second quarter here. Colorado down 16-7. Staub takes it himself, going to the end zone. He's going to dive and flip on in, loses the ball, but don't worry. That's a touchdown. Colorado down just 16-14 at the half, putting his body on the line early in this one, getting that helmet fixed. Late in the third quarter, Houston up 5. Dean Connors gets the ball, looks to throw, but takes off himself, diving towards the pylon. It's initially called a touchdown, but we got to take a look. Knee is down. He was marked short on the 1-yard line. But don't worry, just give it to the QB for the sneak. Connor Wigman sneaking it in for the touchdown. Houston up 26-14. Wigman's feeling himself, and he is not done. Fourth quarter, QB draw, making a man miss, runs it in for the 7-yard score. Wigman finished with 305 total yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Former 5-star really looking like it. Houston starting 3-0 for the first time since 2016, but that is Colorado's worst 3-game start in the Dion Sanders era. College football scoreboard from last night. Indiana having a nice afternoon, 73-0 over in-state Indiana State. Also, we're going to talk about that New Mexico UCLA score, an 0-3 start for the Bruins. But let's start with Dion Sanders. I said that it was the worst 3-game start with him as the head coach. We wondered what this year could be like without the Heisman Trophy winner and Travis Hunter, without his sons on the team. But Danny, is this better, worse, or exactly what you thought we were going to see from Colorado?
I think it's probably what I thought. As far as I think it's going to be a rebuild, but what I did not expect was for him to play 3 quarterbacks already. I mean, he brought 2 to Big 12 Media Days, and they weren't the ones that started last night in Martin Luther Staub, which is one of the greatest nicknames out there, which Coach Prime gave to him. But here's the thing I think is very unique. Coach Prime has never coached anybody except his son at quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. So in high school, he coached him. At Jackson State, he coached him. And in Colorado, he coached him. So he's never had to deal with quarterbacks before. And I think you have to be careful that you're not ruining all of their confidence by having such a quick hook with the first 2 in the first game, then going to Ryan Staub. We'll see what the reaction is after he had 2 interceptions last night. But if you have a revolving door at quarterback, it's going to potentially ruin the season for them. And I also wonder what it means in that locker room, not to mention what it means for the transfer portal implications, because Julian Lewis was a 5-star who was a big recruit for him, who I'm sure thought he was going to be the first guy off the bench, which he was last week. And now they go to the 3rd stringer who's already been there. Caden Salter was probably thinking he was going to be the starter, and they're sitting there. I think it's just a dynamic that Coach Prime is going to have to manage very delicately, or else you could lose the season even worse than we thought it could be.
Well, Juju Lewis initially flipped his commitment from USC, so he was looking elsewhere. And like you said, that's something you have to take into consideration.
I mean, he was handed the keys by Shedeur.
Literally.
Was he not? It was on Instagram. They did the photo shoot and everything. Hold on. What do you do? What Shedeur do? Something like this? Something like that.
That's a nice timepiece you got.
I got it from Walgreens. They took me to the back room. I learned something from you. But listen, here, I want to agree with Danny on a serious note about this is exactly what I expected from Colorado. Why? Because Colorado played superhero football last year. They relied on Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders to get them out of every situation they were in, whether it was offensively, whether it was defensively, even on special teams. They relied on those 2 guys to save every moment for them. And whenever you don't have those 2 guys, then we see the leaks and the creaks in the foundation, the fact that you can't run the ball still, the fact that you still can't stop the run, and the fact that you can't protect your quarterback. Listen, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is going to be. You cannot move forward if your quarterback is consistently on his back, under pressure, running out of the back of the pocket. There were times where I saw Staub catch a snap last night and then just start rolling out of the pocket because he expected the pressure. And it wasn't because they were blitzing or because they were sending this defensive front or this scheme that was reinventing the wheel, but it was because he knew the guys up front weren't stout enough to protect him. So he had to navigate and try to find ways to throw the football. So those are the fundamental problems for Colorado that will continue.
And to your point, those problems surfaced the last 2 years, but they had a legit pro that covered up a lot of things in Shedeur Sanders. I guess for me, the most confusing part about this is what was the coaching staff offensively during the entire spring session to be able to understand who was the best option for us at the quarterback position. I, for one, did not expect this. I felt like when you brought in a veteran presence like Dion Sanders, who's played some really good football and against lesser competition, but yet and still he had the experience, I felt like he would jump into the saddle if he won the job, and they would be able to sustain some type of success. But to your point, the offensive line hasn't gotten any better. No. And now you don't have a legit potential pro at the quarterback position that can cover up some things. But to Danny's point, you have to exercise patience. I felt like he removed Salters too soon from the starting lineup. Week 1, you played against Georgia Tech, a very, very good competitive team. Your offense didn't look good, but it wasn't solely because of the quarterback. Exercise patience to allow him to get his rhythm, because this is a new scheme that he has to learn, get acclimated to, and you pull the seat from him. Now where do you go? Because clearly what we saw last night is not the same option you want to utilize next week at the quarterback position. I mean, next week they got Wyoming. You got to win that ball game. Outside of Wyoming, BYU, TCU, Iowa State, and Utah. So you got to win the games you're supposed to win if you want to have a competitive, successful season.
So real quick, how much of the blame do you put on Coach Prime?
I mean, he's the head coach. He said with the media, I have a plan. And yet the plan looks like a disaster early. And I would suggest the plan be to find one guy and stick with him, let him play his way through it. But something you said, this team was dead last in the country in rushing last year. But they had Shador to bail him out. They don't have him anymore. I saw Marshall Faulk, their new running back coach, multiple times this offseason. He said, we're going to look completely different. We're going to be committed to the run. They haven't done that. So Pat Shermer, the offensive coordinator, they need to have some sort of soul-searching conversations to find out which quarterback gives them the best chance to run the football. That's what Caden Salter brings to the table. He's more of a running threat. So whatever it is, they've got to figure out how to get more physical at the point of attack, because if they're too one-dimensional like they were last night, it could be a really long season for the Buffs.
Can I make a point? And I want to bounce off of both of you two. The point that you made about what were the coaches doing in the offseason, I want to look at this. You mentioned Marshall Faulk, right? You've got Warren Sapp. You've got Pat Shermer. You've got Dion Sanders. I mean, the plethora of experience, whether it's playing, whether it's coaching, whether it's analyzing, whether it's coordinating, there should not be these problems. Like, again, you want to talk about the fact that Colorado can't stop the run. Warren Sapp, what's going on? What are you there for, essentially, if with all the experience that you have, the player that you were, what you're supposed to bring to this team, you're not bringing the mentality to the defensive line? Same with Marshall Faulk and the running backs. And the list goes on and on. Pat Shermer throughout the offense. Call it whoever you want. But at the end of the day, what have they been doing all this time with all that experience?
The only thing I wonder, though, is Warren Sapp can't go out there and play. Yeah. Marshall Faulk can't go out there and play.
Yeah.
I worry a little bit about their personnel, because they've been very portal heavy, as a lot of teams have. And to ask them all to come together in continuity and to go out there and execute, I think that's a big task. Why I think any team, and I would put Florida State in this category because they've been a very portal-heavy team, I just think it's a more volatile environment where sometimes if it clicks, like last year, you could have a great season. But if it doesn't, you worry about chemistry in the locker room, and I think it can make for a very bumpy ride.
Yeah, and speaking of the portal and how it can be volatile, UCLA got the #1 player in the transfer portal this past cycle. That is Nico Iamaleava. 0-3, coming off a loss to New Mexico. This was a bye game. They spent $1.25 million to have New Mexico come in and beat them by 25 points. How should Deshaun Foster be viewed in this spot, BMAC?
Man.
Second year. We know how it got started. Rocky start at Big Ten Media Days when he stepped up to the podium. Since then, not a lot of winning.
And you know, I just talked about exercising patience, but I don't know if they will continue to exercise patience with Deshaun Foster. We knew it was an uphill battle for him becoming the head coach at UCLA. Remember how he became the head coach there. But now looking at the lack of progression, it's one thing to lose to Utah. Right? We know Utah has always been a competitive team, physical on either side of the football field. But losing to UNLV and then losing to New Mexico State, who you paid a nice meal ticket to come take your meal, don't make any sense at all. Not to mention you have a quarterback who at one point in time in the early month of the season a year ago, people were saying he's in the Heisman conversation. He's digressed. I mean, this has been ugly. They're averaging 14 points per ball game with an explosive quarterback. We saw what Nico did last year for Tennessee. Everything that we saw, we're not seeing now. They can't protect him. He's already been sacked 6 times. They don't do anything right there in UCLA. If they weren't playing in LA, they might just cancel the program. That's the best thing they have going on right now. The Rose Bowl, tall palm trees, and good sunshine. Outside of that, the football has been horrible, and it's not going to get any better. And for Nico, you talk about having portal remorse.
Yeah.
Woo.
I saw something on Twitter because I was gonna go to this. I saw something on X. Excuse me, I should call it.
Yeah.
It was a picture of the attendance for the UCLA game last night. Which it looked like it was about 5,000 fans, right?
Maybe.
So they talked about how Nico Mayava transferred to UCLA. Is playing in front of 5,000 fans, getting beat by 4 scores to a team that you just paid $1.25 million for. But instead, Joey Agalar, who left UCLA and went to Tennessee, well, guess what he's going to be doing today? He's going to be playing in front of 110,000 fans against the Georgia Bulldogs with an opportunity to cement himself as one of the best players in the SEC and all of college football. So you want to talk about portal remorse? I'm here to say this is the worst. Granted, we haven't seen that much of it in terms of years, but we've seen a lot of transaction. This is the worst NIL portal decision that we have ever seen, and it is going to take a serious effort for somebody to upend this on Nico Mayava.
So here's what I think this should be a warning for every player out there that is considering making a move. And I think even more so, it's a warning to those players. Be careful of the advice you're getting. Because I don't think this was Nico's fault. I think it was his dad got heavily involved. He had some representation that was heavily involved. And they thought they could get more money from Tennessee. But if you're going to bluff and act like there's a lot of great opportunities out there, you better make sure you have one, because they were scrambling to find a place for him to go to, and they ended up at UCLA. And it made 0 sense whatsoever, because the excuse they said with Tennessee was, we're not real thrilled that they're giving us, enough help around us with an offensive line. We weren't going to get helped with the NFL development, and this move could derail his entire career.
Oh,
and I think he's a good
It already has.
I know, but you know what? He's probably going to be somewhere else next year.
He's going to be in the portal.
Yeah,
for sure. He's in the portal.
Maybe he can revive it somewhere else.
Yeah, he's in the portal.
But I think it is a cautionary tale that every player needs to look at very carefully before they make a rash decision. And search
advisors,
for more money.
parents, stay out the way. It's about football.
It's about your kids.
Yes, don't allow this short-term money to outweigh the potential long-term money that you can get in the NFL. And that's what they're doing. And right now they're crying because they're feeling sick to their stomach because it's not getting any better. And old Joey in Tennessee getting ready for big ball game.
Hey, listen, if Tennessee wins today, Nico's going to be screaming, crying, throwing up, punching air.
The bright side, though, for Nico is he doesn't have to play Georgia. They sacked him 6 times last year, so maybe he'll be feeling a little bit better about that. We have more college football pregame on the other side, and really any ranking is going to be met with criticism, but this week, discussion around the AP poll absolutely exploded. How do we fix it? Why does it matter? That's next.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger. Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And that's surely the score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tonk skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
And Leon's going to try a fake. It's a fake. Right out there is Singleton. Made the catch at the 20. Singleton breaks 2 tackles and scores a touchdown. Left side, Brown trying to get around the corner. Does. Dives for the pylon. And he's in. Too big, too strong.
Dumped it to his right. Broken tackles, 2 of them. Up the right side. Into Gators territory. Into field goal range.
Snap, hold, kick. Good!
A night no one on that field will ever forget, even if they want to. Although some may have missed it altogether based on some of the AP ballots that came out this week. Definitely some debate, to say the least. Most of the ire was pointed at one voter who moved Florida up 2 spots after that loss to number 14, left USF, the team they beat, unranked. Reasoning did not help matters.
There's tons of people that vote on the AP poll, and it's not a perfect system, but at the end of the day, no matter who you pick, it does even out because there's so many people who vote. And like I said, it's really fun for discussion. It doesn't, probably matter in the end, but I'm glad that people are having a really good time.
63 people vote on the AP poll. That video from Haley Sawyer was shared wide across the Twitterverse this week, but she was not the only one to submit a questionable poll. What's your biggest gripe with the AP poll as it stands?
So there were 11 voters that had SMU still ahead of Baylor, even though we just saw Baylor beat SMU in their backyard. So it is not a Haley Sawyer problem. It is a problem that the AP just feels broken, that too many voters, they're regional, they're beat writers, and they're only able to watch the team that they cover. And so they'll go check the scoreboard and they'll maybe scoreboard watch and get some updates on there. And even worse case, and sometimes they might overlook games that actually happened. So I think the one thing that could be good that comes of this is now that they're aware that everybody is paying attention and there's more accountability, and if they don't go out there and do some due diligence and study all the games, that people will call them out. So hopefully that's the best thing that comes of it. No one wants to say that the heat they're taking, and it wasn't just Haley, a lot of reporters, I've been on the wrong side of college football fans. It's not a fun place to be. They're some of the most passionate fans that are out there. But I do think the fact that they know people are paying attention to what they're doing will hopefully have them studying a lot more, paying attention a lot more, and then you'll get a more accurate representation in the top 25.
I will say your local AP rep is also supposed to take a look at your poll to make sure there are no potential egregious errors. Yes, there is a checks and balances system, so could have been a mistake. But ultimately, it's their job to rank the teams, and it's our job to critique it. That is definitely a fair trade-off. Let's do it by seeing who is overrated and underrated, starting with 18th ranked South Florida. What say you, Damien? Overrated, underrated?
Well, I'll be honest. I think that USF is perfectly rated, but in the world of TV, we've got to be one way or the other. We have to pick. So I'm going to pick. I'm going to say that they are overrated.
What?
And I don't listen. Here's what I'm going to say. This is nothing against USF. This is nothing against their players, their coaches, what they have accomplished so far. Here's what I see. You are 2-0. One team that you beat is Boise State, that every college football fan in the country complained about last year because they weren't a competent enough team. They weren't good enough. All they had was Ashton Genty, a running back who was having having a great year against lesser competition. Then you beat Florida, which let's not pretend that they went and blew the Florida Gators out of the swamp. Now, they won on a They won on a last-second field goal. I respect it. You're the little brother. You're the underdog. You pulled off a huge upset. That was huge for your program. But what about your opponent? You're playing a Florida team that we sit up here and dissect year after year. The coaching, the playing, DJ Lagway, the defense. If this was a Florida segment, we would sit here and pick them apart all segment long.
And we would find a lot of 5-stars.
And we would. But at the end of the day, we would sit here and say, Florida's not a good team. Billy Napier's going to be on the hot seat again at the end of the year. Is he going to survive? Is DJ Lagway that good? He's injury prone. He can't stay healthy. He hasn't made the throws yet. He just uses his legs. So again, I will say this. USF is perfectly rated. I think 18 is perfect for them. But again, I say we are putting the cart before the horse because their opponents that they play, in my eyes, they just aren't competitive enough opponents.
Damien, you're drinking the same coffee that Miss Haley drunk. Clearly, you're not feeling well right now. How can you say they're underrated? They're overrated. You talked about the Boise game. Yes, Boise did not live up to the billing in the playoff game, but they've always been a very, very respectful program, especially in the group of 5. They're coached the right way. They play good football, and they've always been competitive, especially with their level of competition. In week 1, USF were an underdog, and guess what I did? I took Boise because I didn't believe that USF could go do what they did. And guess what happened? They spoiled my parlay. So guess what I did next week? I took USF getting 17 points. You know why they were getting 17 points? Because they were a significant underdog. On the road, you can say whatever you want to say about Florida. Danny talked about the SEC and the environment. Everyone felt like that environment would be too much for the Bulls. Whatever you say, your Bulls. That's right. And guess what they did? They went and pulled the rug from under the Gators.
From a bad team.
They're still crying. So when you talk about being an underdog in your first 2 weeks, playing against nationally ranked teams, and you beat both of them, yes, you're underrated. And right now today, they're a 17.5-point underdog once again. You know why? Because they're playing against another ranked team, Damien. Stop it. Don't drink the coffee, you and Haley.
Amen. They're underrated. 18 is incredibly disrespectful to the South Florida Bulls. They should be ranked higher. Last year, Miami went to Florida, got a big win. They went right into the top 10. And I know it wasn't as big of a blowout, but a win is a win. Nobody has 2 better wins than they do. They should be in the top 10 at minimum.
Only team in the country with 2 ranked wins on the season.
Say it again.
Yes.
Only team in the country with 2 ranked wins on the season. All right, we'll see what happens
We'll
today.
see where those 2 teams are ranked in week 5.
How about 12th ranked Clemson? Danny, overrated, underrated?
I had them, just making sure I got this right, because he doesn't even have an answer in for it. So
What
I
did
just
past
feel
Danny
it right
say?
here. They're overrated. This has been one of the bigger disappointing stories for me early in this college football season, and they're just 1-1. And I will say that if they win today, they can go back to being properly rated, which I still think is a team that I don't think they can win the national championship. I think they could win the ACC. I think they can make the playoffs, but they have not shown national championship pedigree now. If they lose this game against Georgia Tech, it will be the biggest surprise early in the season to the downside. They have a ton of pressure riding on them. And Cade Klubnik, who I thought was one of the more experienced quarterbacks in college football, he's going to get tested. They have several injuries today. He hasn't shown me that he can put this team on his back and win a game for him. So there's a lot of question marks. Right now, they are overrated.
All right, 7th ranked Texas, overrated, underrated, B-Mac?
Overrated. And it's not just about the loss against Ohio State. It's about how they looked last week against San Jose State. Yes, the final score was a blowout in favor of the Longhorns, but they struggled in that ball game, especially in the first half. If it wasn't for their defense, guys, that game would have been a lot closer, but we're not seeing the offensive efficiency that we all thought we would see. We're not seeing the quarterback deliver like we thought we would see from him. So my personal opinion, I still believe they're a good team. I'm not going out and saying what Danny is saying, they won't make the playoffs, but so far in 2 weeks of play, they haven't lived up to the billing, and because of that, they're overrated right now.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and are we going to address the elephant in the room? Arch Manning is not what anybody thought he was going to be.
Right.
In fact,
which was impossible.
Yeah, it was very possible because the expectations that we all put on him. I was one of those guys that stood up and said, I think Arch Manning he's going to be as good as advertised. And even if he's not as good as advertised, if he's close, that'll be good enough. Well, he's been far below that. He's been lower than the expectations of even the people who thought he wouldn't be that good. And whenever your quarterback is not playing at a high level, you talked about they have lulls. They look slow on offense. They don't start fast. Like I remember every team I was a part of, our main initiative on offense was start fast. Our first rack of plays on offense, we knew what we were going to run. They're supposed to be successful. They're supposed to be our heavy hitters plays that we know we're going to have success on. But again, every time we see Texas play, which granted it's been a couple weeks, they look slow on offense. They look sluggish. I know there's a conversation about is Arch Manning hurt or not? And to that, I will just say where there is smoke, there's fire. We've seen the look on his face when he throws the football. We've seen him skip a few footballs to some open receivers. Again, where there's smoke, there's fire. I got to say this team is overrated.
Well, don't worry. Sark was asked about that and cleared it right up.
Arch Manning seemed to be having some throwing pains by the
According to
fourth
who?
quarter. Arch.
Arch said that to you?
No.
Oh, according to who?
It just looked like he was.
He doesn't have any.
Is there an explanation to why it looked like that?
I don't know. I've never filmed any of you guys when you're using the bathroom, so I don't know what faces you make when you're doing that.
The fact that he was as orange as the Texas logo behind him in itself is crazy enough. And then you want to make an absurd comeback like that. Like he really thought he ate with that one.
That didn't make a lot of sense to me. I think Arch is okay. I don't know. I guess we'll see today when they face an in-state matchup. There's one of many in-state matchups on the line in this Saturday, and we're going to go through them. But there's a bit of a difference in competition, I would say. So guys got their buzzers out here. We're calling it the beatdown buzzer, all right? So you're going to hit the buzzer when you get to the point where you think that Texas will win by this much against UTEP. BMAC, you're going to start us off here. So how much will Texas win by today, starting now?
Okay. They're a 40-point favorite, right?
Yeah.
So I am going to go, you guys ready for this?
Okay. Was that quick enough?
I wanted to go 24, but I'll take 27, I guess. Make sure you hit it pretty hard, guys.
All right. Okay.
I wanted to go 24, but 27 is doable. They're not covering the 40.
Okay. How about Ohio at number 1, Ohio State? Danny, we ready?
All right. Yeah.
Let's cue up the countdown here.
Yep. Oh, we're still going.
Oh, we're still counting down.
All right.
Here we go.
We could have started about there because I think it's going to be in about the same.
Yell stop, smash the buzzer.
It's coming up. I'm going to go right now.
You got to hit
the buzzer. Well, no one's telling me to say stop. So I was like, all right, our producer's like, verbalize it. So I would have stopped there at 28. I think 4 touchdowns. The MAC has actually been playing pretty well against the Big Ten. Julian saying they had a huge game against Grambling. This will be tougher competition for them. So I think they win by 4 touchdowns, but I think this will be a better challenge for them.
Okay. How about Villanova at number 2, Penn State? Let's count.
Ooh. Okay.
Now.
Okay, so
we're going to have to wait for a while.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a long time, right?
Yeah.
You got Drew Aller, Nick Singleton.
And he didn't look good last week against FIU.
He's going to list the starting lineup.
He didn't, but again, just to kill some time.
But this,
you've got
so this is
right
more.
here.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So I tried to stop with 40.
Okay.
I tried to stop with a 40 piece. I did because we've seen a lot of lopsided games this year. I know we're talking about, the MAC is better, this, that, and the third. I mean, what did FSU do to the whatever high school team you were talking about they played?
Texas A&M.
Alabama had a big one. Like, there's a lot of teams out here having big wins. So I think, and again, we talked to James Franklin, right? He admitted to us, this is a championship or bust mentality for this team going in this year. And then last game, when Drew Aller doesn't look as good, when you can already kind of feel the pressure if you're James Franklin of like, okay, well, we're not where we're supposed to be. So now, against a lesser opponent, you go out here and you press.
It's a get-right moment.
It's a get-right game. You got somebody you're paying to come in here. You want to take care of business. Obviously, you want to keep your players healthy, so you don't want to just leave everybody out there just so you can run up the score as much as possible. But again, you want a good showing from your quarterbacks, your running backs, your defense, your receivers. I think it's a 40-point burger today.
I don't think it's enough. I'm going to say they win by 60.
Holy.
Yeah.
Well,
because it is an FCS team, and everybody else has been putting up all those numbers.
Yeah.
I think they want to get their players some numbers. I think this is the game they break.
And I also want to be the contrary to your opinion. I think Ohio State wins by way more because we all know Ryan Day does a better job of getting Ohio State ready for these games than he does against the team up north.
All right, elsewhere in the Big Ten. It is a matchup that we have not seen since Drew Brees and Carson Palmer were playing in it. It's USC, it's Purdue, it's big time when we come back.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver, touchdown!
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year!
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals!
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger. Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish. Picks up
Unbelievable strike.
and then surely they score that touchdown.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Let's get you your injury report on college football pregame, starting with the big one in the ACC between Georgia Tech and number 12 Clemson. Georgia Tech quarterback Haynes King is expected to play today after sitting out last week's win over Gardner Webb. As for the Tigers, their star wide receiver Antonio Williams remains ruled out with a hamstring injury. Let's go to Tuscaloosa, where Alabama wide receiver Ryan Williams is expected to play after suffering a concussion in the Tide's Week 1 loss to Florida State. Meanwhile, running back Jam Miller and defensive lineman Tim Keenan are both considered game-time decisions. As for Wisconsin, their quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. is not expected to play. Tennessee and Georgia will square off today in Knoxville. Vols will be without cornerbacks Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson. Also, freshman offensive tackle David Sanders is expected to miss a third straight game with a shoulder injury. Some other notable injuries from around the country. West Virginia running back Jaheim White will miss the rest of the season with a knee injury, starting with today's backyard brawl against Pitt. Number 17 Ole Miss trying to get to 2-0 in SEC play against Arkansas with quarterback Austin Simmons listed as probable with an ankle injury. And in Death Valley, LSU listing center Braylon Moore and tight end Tradez Green as questionable against Florida.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger. Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise,
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that touchdown.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tong skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
It's big time. The highest scoring offense in the country takes its 66 points per game to West Lafayette. The first test of the season for the Trojans comes at the hands of the upset-minded Purdue at 3:30. But we are looking ahead to next week because this squad is headed to Lincoln, Nebraska, hosting the number 23 Michigan Wolverines. We will be there. Anybody been? This is my first time.
That's first time.
I've been. It is incredible. Great college football fan base. The Sea of Red is real. I cannot wait. It's going to be electric.
I am so excited. We're pumped. Not as pumped as Matt Rule was when his team was up 13-0 at the half to Akron. Here's his halftime speech.
They don't fear you. They don't respect you enough yet. And if that sounds like coach speak, then you have the wrong brain. They're dropping back against our starting defense. They're cutting our O-line at the end of the half. I don't want them ever to say our name again. That's the killer instinct I asked about. Not what does my hair look like, what do I look like in the freaking mirror. I walk in here, guys in the mirror checking themselves out. Got a chance at a shutout. You guys got a chance of freaking hanging a score around here we haven't hung in a long time. We don't work hard enough to go take what we want? Go take what you want. You want to get in the game? DJ, you run your ass up on all those routes all week? Now you got a chance to get in the game, maybe. If your brother and your brothers will put them away.
B-Mac, they were winning 33-0, went on to win 68-0. What do you think about that speech?
He's trying to create a standard there, and I'm okay with that when you talk about not living up to the building, not delivering how you're supposed to deliver, and he has his eyes set on a bigger prize. It wasn't about who they were playing last week. It's about looking the part, and that's what you want to see. And one thing we know about Matt Rule, especially throughout his collegiate coaching career, year 3 for him is where he takes off. Every stop he's been coaching college football as a head man, Year 3 is where he really ascends, and that's what we're starting to see right now. Of course, you know, we will be there next week. You don't want to overlook anything, but, man, this is going to be a big game for all of us to enjoy when you talk about Nebraska hosting the Wolverines.
Yeah, today hosting hosting a Houston Christian.
Yeah,
and
you don't
like
want to look
said,
over Houston Christian.
They're not looking past it, but we certainly are. We are so excited to take this show on the road once again. Come say hi if you're there. We're going to be at the Rail Yard, which is right outside of Pinnacle Bank Arena. You can also, of course, always watch us from 9 to noon right here on CBS Sports HQ.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger. Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I have sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash of City on. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that touchdown.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Welcome into Hour 2 of College Football Pregame presented by FanDuel. A reminder of the fun people we have at the desk. Damian Harris is back, Bryant McFadden, Danny Cannell. I'm Emily Proud, and boy, week 2 brought us some fantastic results. It was the week of upsets and surrender cobras.
No.
4 top 25 teams lost. One of those 4, the previously 13th ranked Gators, at the hands of the Bulls from South Florida. Can they do it again? I don't know, but I'm going to ask. Let's ask Mackenzie and Mikey, who have the best bets today. Hey, guys.
Hey, we do have the best bets. So, hey, it's your girl Ken and Mikey. In Mikey's words, we're going to make some money to pay for the drinks this weekend.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Haven't been doing it recently, but would love to do it today.
1-1 last weekend. 1-1 last weekend. So I feel like we're in a good spot right now. We warmed up, and now we're ready for maybe, dare I say, a 2-0 day. Okay, I'm starting with Miami minus the 17.5. I know, my villain arc here. The situation is USF benefited from like 100 yards of penalties from Florida last weekend, and a lot of things had to go their way in that game for them to win, and I do respect it. But this Miami offensive line is going to be a very, very big problem for them. And I'm not the biggest Carson Beck truther after he left the Georgia Bulldogs. I have to admit he looks pretty good right now. So I'm going to lay the 17.5 with Miami.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes it just rolls off the tongue like that.
So you're going to roll off the tongue. I'm going with Duke. I think this is I know.
Back to Duke?
It's like that horribly toxic person you can't get out of your life. I'm going with Duke. It's just a revenge narrative. This is where Darian Mensah transferred from. You have to come out and beat your old team. Like, I don't think there's anything that gets a locker room more juiced up than playing your old team and proving to them why you left and why you're in a better spot.
All right. I mean, that's really brave of you after what they did to you last weekend. Me and Mikey got absolutely hosed by a few hooks in the noon slate last weekend, but that will not be the problem or situation this time around. I'm going to go to a little off-the-trail game here. Washington State, North Texas, over 56.5. Here's the situation.
Wow.
Last year, Washington State games averaged 64 points. North Texas games averaged 60. Okay, Washington State aired out the ball 42 times last week. North Texas historically is just an air raid team. And North Texas, their secondary isn't good. They just haven't really faced tough competition yet. Washington State's going to be the best offense they have seen. So give me the points. Over the 56.5, the Sportsline model makes it almost 70 points here.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Mikey Over is always in on the overs. All right, what else do you have for us here?
I mean, so if you thought Duke was gross, like if you really sat there and you're like, man, Duke is just a nasty, 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 nasty bet, I'm taking Florida plus 7.5 against LSU. Their only key mark win this year is against Clemson, who now looks
bad.
Might I say, as you would say, might I say, bad team.
Yeah, bad.
So give me DJ Lagway in a massive bounce back spot after losing to USF. He's my Heisman still. I think this is his coming out game, and I love having also that 7.5 number in games like this.
Right. Wow. Two disgusting plays from Mikey Overs. Emily, back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you guys so much. Speaking of the SEC, the biggest matchup in the conference today has got to be Tennessee and Georgia. I feel like in the offseason, when the Nico transfer happened, the Vols were kind of left for dead. They were like, yeah, I hope you had fun in the playoff last year, but this year the expectations are going to go down because you lost your 5-star quarterback. We talked about what that trade was like for Nico, but how about on the other side? What do we think of this Joey Agalar-led offense early on in the season?
Well, it's been great to start the season. I mean, I hate to even say this to compare the two, but Joey Agalar right now looks a lot like Nico Iamaleava looked last season at quarterback at Tennessee. Now, the thing that I think that makes the difference is Josh Heupel, because when Nico made the decision that he made, Josh Heupel looked at his team and he said, listen, you can either be a me guy or you can be a team guy. If you're going to be a me guy, we don't want you here. Nico, please go to UCLA. We will gladly take somebody in this spot who wants to be the quarterback of the Tennessee Volunteers. So with that, with the success that Joey Agalar is having now, also to mention, he's got 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he led the league in interceptions last year. With all that being said, the Josh Heupel piece, I think that he's in a better situation, obviously, than Nico. I think he has a better opportunity to continue to have the camaraderie with the guys and pull guys in closer. And that chemistry, that team chemistry that you can have, that can pull you closer to winning games that on paper you might not be able to win, like this game today.
It has been a great start for Joey Agalar, but I think it's too early to dunk on Nico just yet and say we got upgraded. Last year, if you remember, after 3 games, they scored 69, they scored, they beat NC State. That was a big win. Nico was one of the front runners for the Heisman after 3 games. Then it kind of came back to reality when they faced better competition. I like Joey. He's done great. He's hit some of the big shots that Nico struggled with later in the season. But this is a really good litmus test to see where he is in this Josh Heupel system, and it's going to be a much bigger challenge for him.
The one main key ingredient with both quarterbacks, Nico and Joey, Tennessee is a quarterback-friendly offense. That's why you see quarterbacks excel, especially if they can protect the football because of the offensive strategy. They're taking shots down the football field. We saw that early on with Nico a year ago. The first month and a half of the season, he was putting up outstanding numbers because they were playing against lesser opponents. But when you look at the mindset of the offense, it's taking shots down the football field when you're throwing to high-level, talented players. So right now for Joey, what can you do in terms of playing against a defensive team in the Georgia Bulldogs that will keep their roof on the house? They will not allow those explosive plays that you have benefited from in the first 2 weeks of the season. And this is about a coaching adjustment. That's why I love what I see from Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks. They can play different styles. They can go up and down, or they can do it the slow, generic way and just wheel and deal you running the football. Josh Heupel has to be able to do that because his style of play, when you're playing against higher, better teams, they won't allow those explosive plays that you grow accustomed to. Can you do it the more methodical way and take your time and drive the length of the football field to get in scoring range?
And one thing to your point, you talked about keeping the ceiling on the house. That's how you said it, right? Keeping the ceiling on. I'm trying to make sure because at one time you put the ceiling on the roof and then the roof on the ceiling. I'm just trying to make sure I get the saying correct, people. What I do want to say, a part of what helped Nico do that last season for Tennessee, we're ignoring the obvious, is Dylan Sampson, SEC Offensive Player of the Year, a guy that ran the ball very efficiently, and he helped Nico get some of those advantageous opportunities in the passing game due to the fact that he was such an electric runner. And I know you just said that it's a quarterback-friendly system, but again, they do like to run the ball, especially from these spread-out looks, so they can kind of chew you up through throughout the course of the game and move the ball from 20 to 20. But as I look at it here, leading rusher for Tennessee right now is Star Thomas. He's got 161 rushing yards. And some people can look at that and say, okay, well, it's only been 3 weeks, so that that's a good number. But some other people could say that's not going to help Joey Agalar against Georgia. That's not going to help them if they make it to the SEC championship. That's not going to help them get to the college football playoffs. So again, Josh Heupel needs to get Star Thomas in this run game going, and that I think will help continue the success of Joey Agalar throughout the rest of the season.
One quick thing that you mentioned too was the locker room of it all. Those are two very different quarterbacks, Nico and Joey Agalar, from the leadership standpoint. The team's already talking about how much of a rah-rah, loud leader Joey Agalar is. He's also 24 years old. He came up through the JUCO ranks. How much does that matter in a big game like today?
Oh, it's huge. And I think that was something Nico last year was lacking last year, was that leadership aspect. He's a little bit more quiet. He's a little more shy. He's not somebody that gets vocal. And I do think teams like a quarterback who's got a little bit more fire. And Emily, I think you make a great point. You made a great point about him being 24 years old. The last few years, there have been so many teams that have had a luxury of having a quarterback with so much experience. For the first time, now that we're getting further removed from COVID and the extra years, you're not seeing as many guys like Joey Agalar with that much experience. I think that speaks volumes because typically in this type of environment, a younger player might see their eyes get wider. They're a little bit overwhelmed. I don't think that'll be the case with Joey Agalar. I think he'll be ready for that moment for sure.
Massive spot for Gunnar Stockton, too, on the other side, of course.
His first big game in a road environment.
Yeah, I mean, he was thrown into the fire in the SEC championship game, but first big start on the road in a tough environment, as you mentioned. We know Georgia fans love to talk about their offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, but what do we think of Gunnar Stockton operating this Georgia offense?
I love what I'm seeing from Gunnar Stockton because he provides an element to the offense we haven't seen in quite some time, athleticism. He can run the football, and I think he will be called to run the football, either improvising on the fly or quarterback design runs, because it provides another element. I mean, the last really mobile quarterback that we saw from Georgia was Stetson Bennett, and he was just doing so on the fly. But Gunnar is a tough-minded kid. Remember when he jumped into the game because of injury? He started running the football, and he showed his toughness. And what I saw in 2 weeks of play, they're implementing that more so in their offensive game. So that's something that I would expect to see from Gunnar Stockton. And also, too, remember, Tennessee, they're missing 2 cornerbacks. That's a massive loss when you talk about playing a team that's coached the right way under Mike Bobo and now having a quarterback who they believe can make the necessary throws. So those are 2 things you want to watch for: the athleticism of Gunnar Stockton and trying to exploit some of the matchups when you don't have starting cornerbacks in the lineup.
I love what you say about Gunnar Stockton's athleticism. You cannot deny that, but I do have to disagree with you because I don't love what I've seen from the Georgia offense right now. And what I'll say is they're 11th in the SEC right now in yards per play at 5.9. Gunnar Stockton is only averaging 7 yards per pass attempt. Those are not good numbers. Now, they are for the first 2 weeks of the season whenever you're having your get-right games, but against the Tennessee, against these other, I mean, we know Georgia is always going to have a tough schedule. They're in the SEC. They've got a big target on their back. Those kind of numbers offensively, that lack of efficiency is not going to help you win the games. Like, if that is the case, if Georgia averages 5.9 yards per play and Gunnar Stockton averages 7 yards per pass a day, they could very well lose. And it could be a convincing loss at that. So I agree with what you're saying. And I also think that, like you said, the fact that Tennessee is down 2 DBs, that helps Gunnar Stockton because he hasn't gotten in a great rhythm throwing the football. And people have pointed that out. Well, no better opportunity than against a team that's down their 2 starting cornerbacks. Excuse me.
Yeah, Kirby Smart himself admitted he would like to see what Gunnar Stockton is doing in practice more in the games. So wants to see more from his quarterback. I want to see who's winning this game from our panel here on the desk. Damien, who you got?
Well, see, I'm going to flip the script. You're our resident Balls fan here. Yeah. Proud. Who you got? Say it loud and proud. Say it loud and proud.
I'm saving my pick for later in the show because we also have a Georgia alum.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mackenzie,
okay.
you guys had your fun week 1 in Tallahassee fighting with each other. Well, it's the ladies' turn now. So.
Okay, we'll let you save yours. I'm going to go first.
What do you got?
As much as I just talked about
Remember,
Georgia,
I'm sitting right here.
I know. Just as much as I just talked about Georgia and the offense and how they haven't been incredibly efficient, I look at their defense and I think it's just too much for Tennessee to handle. I think they get pressure on Joey Agalar early and often. I think they make him uncomfortable, and with the lack of running game that they have right now at Tennessee, I think the Georgia defense is too much. They give the ball to Georgia more times. They score more points. I like a Georgia win today.
I'm going the opposite direction. Emily, what's the capacity?
My guy.
Neyland Stadium. What's the capacity?
It's a little less than 100,000.
A little less.
They're adding some premium seats.
Yeah. But the thing about there in Neyland, the sound stays in.
Yeah.
It's a very, very electrifying environment for the home team. Tennessee have won 9 straight in Neyland Stadium. I gave the stat earlier. Since the start of 2022, they're 21-1 there on that grass in that stadium. I think this atmosphere will be a little bit too much for Gunnar Stockton. I think their offense will become a bit stagnant, and the experience of Joey Agalar, being 24 years old, not allowing the moment to be too big for him, I think he really orchestrates the efficiency they need to have on the offensive end. And Star Thomas will be a star today. He's averaging over 6 yards per tote. He's a guy that's very, very explosive. Give me Rocky Top Tennessee.
Oh man, that would shake things up in the SEC a little bit. I'll break the tie. I mean, the way you guys talked about Gunnar Stockton, it's like we're looking at Lamar Jackson out there. I don't know if he's that good of a runner. I think he's adequate. I think he can get it done. I'd rather see Nate Frazier running the football, which I think you'll see more.
Please.
And I think you'll see more Zachariah Branch. I think you'll see more Colby Young. They have not shown the deep ball yet. Maybe that's by design. Maybe they're holding some things back against opponents that they can just go out and do enough to get it and work on their run game and throw the ball underneath. I think Gunnar Stockton, I think they get it done. Not by the 14th point. So that's the streak of 8 games. That's coming to a close. I think this game's closer, but I think Georgia wins.
True friend right here.
I got you.
I appreciate you. You know who else is on the Vols side?
Who we got?
The Pope. The Pope, Mackenzie.
Really?
God.
We're bringing Mackenzie Brooks in here, but I got to show this because, come on.
Okay.
The Pope is a Vols fan.
He knows ball.
We cannot lose. Sure, the Pope is also a Bears fan, but we don't need to point that out there.
White Sox fan. I seen him with the White Sox out on
that one out.
Mackenzie, I'm going to let you have the first word here because I'm very kind. Who are you picking to win in this game between Tennessee and Georgia?
Oh, Emily. Emily, this is going to be a Georgia smackdown as it is every single year. They have won this game by double digits the last 8 years. They have covered the spread the last 4 years. That includes a 21.5-point spread in 2021 for those keeping track at home, okay? Danny mentioned it. Kirby Smart is not showing you anything in those first 2 games, okay? I don't care how they looked against FCS teams. They didn't have to look any type of way. We will see those new shiny toys coming from the transfer portal, okay? I like their team total over 27.5. I like them to cover the spread. This is what they do. This is a Kirby Smart prime situation. Just when you want to doubt him, he's going to go on the road and do what he always does to Tennessee. And this is going to be a Georgia dominant win. Emily Proud.
You know what Josh Heupel likes to do? He likes to break streaks. He broke the losing streak to Alabama. He broke the losing streak to Florida. I think the losing streak to Georgia goes down today. Tennessee wins this ball game. I don't even like that you're saying that it's not even close. But we also need to put a little wager on the line too. Maybe we'll do it a little bit later in the show because we got to remind you of what else is happening in the SEC because we're finally playing SEC on SEC. And look at that, Wisconsin, Alabama, looking forward to that one. Oklahoma, Temple, but Florida, LSU, the big game at night. Coming up on College Football Pregame, speaking of big games in the SEC, Texas A&M is going on the road to South Bend to take on Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish. Will they come out with a win? We'll discuss next.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year!
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals!
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns and an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger. Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I have sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise,
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that touchdown.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Oh no, the Grim Reaper of college football. So far this season has been South Florida ruining college football playoff hopes and dreams week after week. First it was Boise, then the Gators. Is Miami next? We're gonna ask that question in a little game of what if. So, what if USF beats Miami?
Well, if USF beats Miami, yeah, I'm gonna have to go. You know what? That's a perfect question. If USF beats Miami today, then I will get back up here next Saturday and I will say, you know what? USF is underrated. But to add on to that, what I originally was going to say is, if Miami loses, we're going to have the same conversation about Mario Cristobal that we were having before the Florida State game. You remember that conversation? Yes, we were talking about you got this, you got this, you got this, but you got nothing to show for it. You got nothing to show for it. And I even want to take it a step further because, you know, we highlight the Florida LSU game tonight, right? If LSU blows out Florida, we're going to be sitting here thinking, okay, Florida still lost to USF. It's going to be the same way with Miami. No matter what they do the rest of the season, we're going to be comparing them to this loss against USF, and Mario Cristobal is going to get the most of that condemnation because of what he's continued to not do and not deliver for the Miami Hurricanes.
And to your point, Damien, I'm right there with you with this what if. Every year that Mario Cristobal has been at Miami, he's had these moments where you're like, how did you lose this ball game? Like, what are you doing? And to your point, the talent is not an issue. They have another experienced quarterback. Last year, they had the best quarterback in college football, and then the Syracuse debacle happened. So that would be, I think, a main conversational point, the Mario Cristobal effect. Being able to find ways to lose games that you're not supposed to lose. And then on the contrary with South Florida, if they win, the what if for them is that I heard Mackenzie say that she believes Memphis would be the group of 5 representative to get into the playoffs. But if South Florida wins today, I'm putting everything I have on them to get into the playoffs to represent the group of 5.
And Mario Cristobal 2-5 against ranked opponents at Miami. What if Texas A&M beats Notre Dame, Danny?
I think it's a rough loss for Marcus Freeman, but I think he's one of the most secure coaches in college football. I think it's a great fit. I think he's a great football coach. They just went to the national championship game last year, and they're working in a new young quarterback in C.J. Carr. I think you would just look at this and you would say, all right, it's a rebuild year. And I think if you're Marcus Freeman, we heard McKenzie say the percentages aren't as low as we give them. I still think you go out there and say, you give your team the example of what happened last year. We lost Northern Illinois. Everybody buried us. We still have 10 games left. We can still make the playoffs. So I think it would be a bad loss, but I don't think it does anything to Marcus Freeman as far as his job security.
And I agree with that 100%. But I do want to say on the other side, Texas A&M has not won a road game against a ranked opponent since 2014. They are 0-13 in that time. The only team worse with a worse record is Vanderbilt. So if they win, that means that Texas A&M, Coach Kevin Elko, they're moving in the right direction with their program, and they're going to look to be SEC contenders throughout the season.
BMAC, what if the question that you already posed, you jumped the gun here, but
Sorry.
what if LSU blows out Florida in this game?
I mean, I think we wouldn't look at LSU differently because of what happened with Florida last week at home against South Florida. I think it would just kind of stamp our opinion about LSU being one of the best teams, not just in the SEC, but in all of college football, especially with them being at home. So, yes, this is a massive game for LSU, and you would think they go out and do what they're supposed to do. But in this day and age of college football, when you think you know, you don't know, and I can't wait to see how it plays out.
I do want to ask you, B-Mac, because you talked a lot about LSU right there. But if LSU does blow out Florida, what do you think about Florida?
They're the Florida team that I kind of expected to see when you look at their schedule, and it's going to be a long, ugly year for Florida.
And if they get blown out, that was the question. Yeah. Billy Napier, that hot seat becomes that much hotter. The next week they play Miami. If they start off 1-3, I really start to wonder, does Billy Napier make it through the season?
You saw their schedule? Yeah. I mean, you have LSU. If you get blown out, then you lose to Miami. Then you have Texas, and then you have A&M. Yep. I mean, we talk about 1-3, could be 1-5.
3 top 10 teams over the next 3 weeks. They're not favored in their next 4 football games.
Yes.
So, yeah, we talk about the LSU side of things, but how about for that man, Billy Napier, 20-20 at Florida. Already hot seat talk last year, definitely heated up with the loss to USF last week. What does a blowout loss on the road look like for him?
So this kind of changes my perspective because I think they do keep it close. I still think they're a pretty good football team. DJ Lagway has gotten off to a really rough start. And I always say, whenever there's a fan base that wants to fire their head coach, what does that locker room think of their coach? And last year, this team fought for them when they had home blowout losses to Texas A&M and Miami, and they were able to win their last 4 games and completely turn it around. So if they get blown out, I wonder if the team has quit. That's what becomes a very real question. Then all of a sudden, my perspective changes on Billy Napier and the culture that he's created there. If they keep it close, I still feel like that's a really good LSU team. It's one of the tougher environments to play. And you're like, all right, let's take it to the next one. And if they lose a lot of games close with that schedule, and DJ Lagway shows some development, which he hasn't yet. But if you get those things, then I would tell Florida fans to be patient with their head coach.
How patient?
Will they listen?
How patient?
No,
Will they listen?
No, they won't listen. No, they should have listened when I told them not to fire Dan Mullen. Because they should have never made that switch. Dan Mullen was a perfect coach for the Florida Gators. He would have been perfect for the the NIL era when you could actually pay the players. Yeah. But it's too late to go back and make that move again.
Yeah, Dan Mullen was on our show last week, and we have another coach coming up on our show this week. Lincoln Riley joining the program. He casually mentioned that he coached 5 quarterbacks who are starting in the NFL. Does he have a potential 6 currently on his roster? We'll ask him next.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I have sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter.
Dexter.
What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And that's surely the score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
It's the Big Ten Game of the Week on CBS. USC at Purdue today at 3:30. Our guy Danny Cannell caught up with the head Trojan, Lincoln Riley.
That's right, Emily. I love talking to coaches. I love it even more after a 2-0 start because you guys are usually in a good mood. We got Lincoln Riley joining us this morning. How we doing, Coach?
We're doing good, Danny. Good to see you.
It's great to see you, too. The 2-0 start, it's been great. We're just looking at some of the numbers off the charts. I know the competition is going to get a lot tougher as the season goes on. You get into conference play, but how pleased have you been with the execution so far early?
I think the guys have done a good job. It's been great in the first couple of games to be able to play so many players on our roster, both offensively, defensively, and on special teams. I think it's been a great evaluation tool for us as we get into, kind of the meat of our schedule. We get into the Big Ten play to be able to see all these different guys perform. And like everybody, I mean, we're excited about some of the things we've done. We've got a lot of improvement to go, but certainly off to a good start and looking forward to our first, Big Ten road game.
We've seen a lot of quarterbacks across the country, new starters. You have a new starter for this season, but he did get to play a lot last year, played a lot at UNLV. How much did him getting to play at the end of last season help him in your system, make him more comfortable as you've gotten into this one?
I think it was very important. Jaden played pretty well for us at the end of last year. We went 3-1 with him, and he really gave us a chance to win all 4 of those games that he started. And I think he's just continued that momentum into the offseason. He's more confident in what we're doing offensively. I think in himself as a leader, being a quarterback and having to understand all the situational aspects of the game is something that I think he worked a lot on during the offseason, and we've seen that here the first couple of weeks. So he's been a steadying presence for us and just needs to continue to stack up as many routine plays as he possibly can. He's done a good job of that up to this point.
he's got some weapons to work with too. Mekhi Lemon is somebody that really started to show some signs last year, and I think he's got potential to be one of the top wideouts in the entire country. And a lot of guys get a lot of attention. I think he's kind of flying under the radar. How good do you think he could be? How good do you think your wide receiving core in general stacks up against some of the best out there?
Yeah, Mekhi's certainly not under the radar for us. He's been a really productive player. He was our most productive receiver last year, and is another guy that's just kind of continued that in terms of his growth as a player. And our quarterbacks, our really entire team, have a lot of confidence and faith in him, and he's really proven himself not only offensively but being a really good special teams player as well. So that's been pretty cool to see his evolution. We like our receiving core. We've been able to get a lot of different guys involved here in the first couple of weeks. I think we've been able to create some depth that we know we're going to need going through this Big Ten schedule. But we feel like we've got some playmakers out there that give us some advantages every time we step on the field.
You mentioned that Big Ten schedule. Last year, first year in the league, there was a lot of question marks. How the teams from the West Coast would do traveling. The amount of travel puts a toll on the players. And I know you made some adjustments this year. Kind of what went into that thinking? Did you go back and study things, or was it like just the new plane, like the way you're approaching the travel this season? It seems a little bit different.
Yeah, I think, Danny, the biggest difference for us has just been really the entire week. We were able to get back on a schedule that was a little bit closer to what, we all did when we were at Oklahoma in terms of just how the entire week's laid out, which we think leads us to being a little bit, more fresh and more prepared, especially when you do have this travel. It is different, these different time zones, getting back and forth, all of that. And so we've made a few changes in terms of the actual direct travel, but I think our bigger changes are on how we lay out the week for our guys, how we practice, how we recover, and we're excited about those changes, excited to put them on display.
I know you made a change to your strength and conditioning staff this offseason, pretty late in the game. With the new staff there in place, new offseason training program, have you seen the returns yet to feel pretty good and better about your team physically?
Yeah, I'm excited about the improvements that we've made there. As you said, it was a late change. Coach Tremaine Carroll came in, had a couple of months with our team. I thought he and his staff did an outstanding job, not only in the training but just the discipline of our guys on a day-to-day basis. And that was, we felt like that was something that was needed to help us continue to take the next step in our program. And so I think our guys did a great job of buying into it. All of that's going to get put to the test now. That's the beautiful thing. Is we can hype up or speculate or do whatever we want, but now it's all going to be settled on the field, and our guys are going to get a chance to go prove how good of a move that was.
No doubt. When you look at the overall picture of college football, one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I'm curious to know from an offensive mind, we saw the helmet communications in there for a piece. Have you kind of evolved in the way you've utilized it? Has it been pretty much what you thought, that ability to communicate with your quarterbacks?
I think it's been pretty expected. I mean, I know a lot of us last year when this was coming into the fold, we all communicated with people that we knew in the NFL to try to get a feel for, what this would be like. And I think it's been pretty steady. I think honestly, the bigger change, in my opinion, has been the use of tablets and live video in game. I honestly think that's changed the game probably more than people realize. And you go from the NFL obviously has the still shots. We had nothing. You just had to rely on just what you saw on the previous play, chart it, remember it, all of that. Now we went completely to the other side, and we can replay and watch every play from different angles. So I think that's had a big impact on the game from a strategy standpoint, and I think all of us are probably still adapting to that here in year two.
We talked to Dan Mullen a week ago. He said it was like cheating because he's back in college now, and he's like, I can't believe we get to look at these videos, show exactly what you're looking at. That's a huge advantage. I totally agree, man. I was in the day when you had the Polaroids that you could hardly see. They were blurry. It was pretty brutal to try to see what was going on. I want to ask you something, because I've noticed with the trend of quarterbacks that it almost becoming a requirement to have a quarterback who can run the football. Is that the way you see it when you evaluate? And Jaden's no different. He's pretty mobile. He can get it done in the ground game as well. Is the day of the passing quarterback, like the pure pocket passer, is that something that is a dinosaur that we're going to see as an extinct breed?
I think it's going to continue to get more and more rare. I think a guy's going to have to be so good from the pocket to justify not having somebody that can move or at least be a threat to the defense. That I just think the margin for error for those guys is just so different. So, yeah, I think the game has changed a lot. I mean, the game at our level's changed. The game at the NFL level's changed a lot, especially the amount of time that those guys have with their players. So I do think you're going to continue to see more athletic guys. And in the past, it was all, well, you had to be, 6'2 plus and be able to throw the ball and read defense and all that. And, obviously in the last several years, we've seen a lot of guys succeed, with smaller quarterbacks, which brings at times more athletic guys into the fold. So, we certainly, look to recruit guys that have some athleticism. I never want it to be the first thing that they do, but I definitely want to have that tool at our disposal.
No doubt. When you look at Purdue and you look at them with a new staff, a lot of turnover on the roster itself, I think they have 54 new players. Have you seen enough yet in 2 games? Do you still go back and study what Barry Odom was doing last year? How does that preparation evolve for you as you're getting ready for this opponent early in the season?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mix. It's nice that we've been able to at least see a couple of games, especially like you said, from a personnel standpoint. This day in college football, you can be coming up and play a team that has like no returning starters, and as you said, 50 plus new players. And, it's unique to try to grab individual film for those guys from all the different places that maybe they transferred in from. So, it's good to be able to have a couple of games under our belt. We've certainly studied a little bit of what they did at UNLV, but this is a different group, a different set of skills that they're working with. But to give them credit, I mean, they've done a great job. Teams played well here in the first couple of weeks. They played really good defensively, and looks like some of the new guys that they brought in have really came in and made a strong impact for them here throughout the first couple of weeks.
There was a popular topic this week was the transfer portal window. I think every coach was like, just give us one. Like, we don't need 2 windows. And then with the new date that came out, that January 2nd, the 10-day window starting then, there's been some coaches that have pushed back. Some said it's good. What to you is the perfect spot on the calendar to put that transfer portal window?
I mean, unfortunately, there's not one, and I get, you hear the arguments, guys, have come out vocally and said, well, hey, this shouldn't be during the playoffs, which, I agree. To think that the NFL would be having the NFL playoffs and then just free agency right in the middle of it, like, that would never happen. But the flip side of it is, like, where do you put it? Because you do want to get your roster set. Guys got to get in school. And so I just think the system, honestly, right now doesn't make for a good place to put it, because you're battling 2 things. You're battling the calendar to play the playoffs and the national championship game versus college semesters. And those 2 things don't jive in a lot of ways. So I got to be honest, I don't know where you put it. I'm glad that we just have one. There's going to be some sacrifice one way or another. Is there the perfect spot the way that the game's played right now? I don't see it, and it's just going to continue to be debated on which one's best.
You've done a phenomenal job with quarterbacks. You've coached quite a few that are playing now in the NFL. I'm curious, because I know you guys are you have to dive in and get ready for the next opponent, and you're usually diving in deep on film at the college level. But do you get a chance to sit back and watch Sundays and watch some of your quarterbacks that you've coached up play?
We're normally, moving on to the next opponent and getting the game put to bed. But I certainly do have my phone by me and checking scores. And occasionally, if I need a break from film or whatever, I'll flip the TV over and just see how one of the guys are doing. I always love it when they're the Thursday night game, because that's the night we get home a little bit earlier. So I always hope that our guys land on that one, because I get to watch the whole game. But no, it's cool. It's cool seeing, those 5 guys playing. It's cool seeing all the different guys we've been able to coach throughout the years, living out that dream and making a big impact at that level. So yeah, a lot of pride and excitement when I get a chance to watch those guys play.
Last one for you. Does Jaden remind you of anybody you've coached before, like as a skill set, as a kind of leadership qualities? Does he remind you of anybody you've coached?
His temperament reminds me some of Jalen, in terms of how steady that kind of both those guys are, that, don't get too high, don't get too low. So I see some of his temperament there. He's a very, very decisive player. Baker was incredibly decisive of where he was going to go with the ball, and Jaden has that same decisiveness. But he's definitely unique in some ways too. He's the biggest guy that we've had in a while. We had all the Smurfs there for a while, so now we finally got a guy with some size. But yeah, he's doing a good job. Continue to be himself and continue to grow, and it'll be fun to watch him evolve.
It's fun watching him play, fun watching him develop. He's been playing outstanding. Best of the luck against Purdue. Best of luck the rest of the season. Appreciate the time.
Anytime. Thanks, Danny.
Casual, just slid in. He had 5 guys that he coached are starting in the NFL right now. A lot of coaches would love to say that. It's big time on CBS. Catch USC at Purdue at 3:30. You can watch it on CBS or streaming on Paramount Plus. Major shakeups in the Heisman race after week 2, but how about some long shots and big games this weekend? Mackenzie Brooks breaking down the odds on the other side.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise,
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish. Picks up it.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that touchdown.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tonk skills.
Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
This just in out of college football, where Ole Miss quarterback Austin Simmons is a game-time decision for tonight's showdown against Arkansas. That is the latest from our Matt Zenitz. Simmons was injured in last week's win against Kentucky and was unable to finish the game. If he is unable to play, it'll be Trinidad Chambliss under center for the Rebs. He received an uptick in snaps at practice this week with the first team, with the Rebels 24/7 reporting that Simmons has been in a boot all week. So wait to see what happens in that game. But while we're on the discussion of quarterbacks, let's talk about the Heisman Trophy race. For that, we bring in our Mackenzie Brooks. And we've seen a lot of movement on this board this week alone. But John Mateer at plus 800 lands at the top. Is this an overreaction to what we saw last week, or is he a legitimate candidate to take home that trophy?
No, I think plus 800 is pretty much fair value for what you're getting. For his team, there's always two parts of the equation. You know, is your team exceeding expectations, and are you going to hit the stat threshold? As far as the stat threshold, he is on pace for the 40-plus passing and rushing touchdowns, and finishing 9-3 for this team is exceeding expectations. Their win total was like 6.5, 7.5. So we give that an 11% chance in the Sportsline model. That implies around plus 800. Obviously, you don't want to say this is a good value, but I will say he plays Temple. He's going to stat pad. That number might just get shorter. So if you do like John Mateer, I would get it before he plays today.
An absolute gauntlet in the SEC. Every single conference game they have left on the schedule is against a ranked opponent. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah.
Speaking of a ranked opponent, how about Garrett Nussmeier? He, at one point this week, was the leader in the Heisman odds. You're already shrugging. What do we think about that?
On Monday, he was still the favorite. I mean, now this makes a lot more sense, 14-1. The guy has 2 passing touchdowns on the season. He played Louisiana State. He needed to put up like 5+ passing touchdowns. Stat padding these lesser opponents is so important part of this Heisman race. Obviously, the storylines and the head-to-head wins against marquee matchups obviously are important. But again, you still need to be on pace to hit 35+ passing touchdowns if you're Garrett Nussmeier, and he's not at all.
We've got a primetime matchup for him tonight in Death Valley. And if you go pretty far down the odds board for the Heisman Trophy, we had to put a whole new graphic up just to get Joey Agalar, who's still at the bottom at plus 3,500. I mean, that is an absolutely massive number.
It's good value.
Potential good value here from Mackenzie, but let's go inside the numbers and hear from our guys and do a little film breakdown of his game, guys.
And thank you for bringing up Joey Agalar, because we're about to show you some plays that might just jump him into the Heisman conversation if he can keep playing well. Go ahead and roll the tape so we can see what Mr. Agalar does well, because he does a lot of things very well. So look at this play right here. We've got what does this look like to you, B-Mac? This looks like quarters, right?
Yep.
Cover 4, right? You got 4 deep, 2 DBs, 2 safeties back deep. Now, with a little bit of play action, you see that safety to the right on the hash get a little bit nosy, and then that allows Joey Agalar to deliver a deep ball over the top for a touchdown. Now, if we see this play from the back angle, which I hope we get, this is what I love about Joey Agalar right here. He stands in the pocket. There's a defender pushing the offensive lineman right back into his lap, and what does he do? He stands in the face of pressure. He delivers a strike up the band, 7 points, touchdown, Tennessee. What else we got? I know that ain't the only play we got.
You know, Josh Heupel asked his quarterback to trust the system, but he was reading that safety. That safety just hesitates for 1 split second.
Yep.
He already knows where he's making that throw, and that was a great ball right inside.
And again, that stresses the importance of the run game, because whenever you run play action, you can get a safety to creep up like that. Then that is what allows you to hit those deep home run balls over the top. Now let's see what else we got. We like this, but we don't love this, because right here we've got a little bit of a Utah concept. That's what we call it when you've got the 2 unders by the outside receiver in the corner right here. Explain it. Explain the coverage.
It's a quarter concept again. Once again, number 3 is the actual first read for Joey. He was impatient. He actually comes open, but because of his athleticism and his experience, he's able to extend the play and still make a play. That's the unique thing you have with Joey. Not really going to the first initial read that he was supposed to, but never panic in the pocket. The internal clock got rolling, made a play, touchdown. These are the things that Joey can provide for the Tennessee Volunteers, especially against the type of defense he will see today, because usually the first read might not be there. What happens when you have to go to your second and your third progression? We saw that, and they worked in their favor in that play.
And you bring up a great point, because this Georgia defense, they're led by Kirby Smart. And what do? They always take away your first read. They always take away maybe even your second read. So is Joey Agalar going to be able to escape the rush, escape the pressure, make plays with his legs, extend plays, let his receivers uncover? We will see today.
Let's look at the quarterback on the other side. Gunnar Stockton, they've been a little bit slow starting this year. We'll throw up a couple of his plays right now. So here he is against Texas. I love this. Gets outside the pocket because he feels that inside pressure, doesn't panic, kind of goes through his progression, waits for the pressure to come to him. Anytime you're outside the pocket, you want to force them to think you're going to run the football. Once he senses that pressure comes up, drops it right over the top. That's what Georgia fans want to see out of Gunnar Stockton today against Tennessee. You can see his eyes, keeping his eyes down the field. He knows he's got that outlet if he needs it, but once that defender sucked up, he knew he had to throw over the top. That was perfect. One of the things that have been frustrating for the Georgia fans is the inability to hit the deep ball. Now, this is one where it is wide open. This is last year, and he's going to have opportunities like this today on the road in an environment. Got to put a little bit more touch under that ball, let him run under it. That's about as easy as a throw as you'll see for a college quarterback. You're hoping that after an offseason, getting more comfortable with his receivers this year, he hits this throw, because this will be a game where you're going to have 2 or 3 opportunities to hit those big plays. He's got to capitalize on them and try to silence those Tennessee Vol fans.
Especially considering the fact that Tennessee will be down their 2 starting DBs. So if you're a Georgia fan, you expect to see a lot of what we just saw, but him to make that throw. This is a game where even though you're playing a tougher opponent, you're on the road, it's going to be a tough environment. When your opposing team is down 2 DBs, that's a great time to work on your chemistry, your timing with your receivers. And this is a good opportunity for offensive coordinator Mike Bobo to start to open up the call sheet. Now we're into conference play. Let's start to spin the dial a little bit and run some plays that are really going to be effective against a great defense.
And get him in space. Allow Gunnar to utilize his athleticism. Get him in space where he has a 2-to-1 read, potentially throwing the football or running the football. I think that could really be a positive asset for Georgia in today's matchup.
One of many big-time games. Thanks, guys, for that. That was a lot of fun. So Georgia, Tennessee, we know about that one. We're going to continue to talk about it. But how about big time on CBS? USC at Purdue, an interesting matchup there. We've got a Sunshine State showdown, Florida, LSU, A&M, and Notre Dame. It's too late to apologize, Lane Kiffin. Good teams win, great teams cover. He said he was sorry, but our Sportsline team, are they forgiving? Let's ask him next.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
No. That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger. Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City Eye. Superb finish. Mix of it.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that touchdown.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
College football fans, all FanDuel customers get a shot to boost their winnings every Saturday. All you got to do is claim your boost and apply it to your college football bet for a shot at even bigger winnings. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now and play your game. Bad beat for Ole Miss bettors last week against Kentucky. The 8.5-point spread looking good till it was a 10-point game until 8 seconds left, and the ball went through the uprights, breaking the hearts of bettors everywhere. But Lane Kiffin did apologize after the game. Not sure if that makes Mikey McKenzie feel any better, because the parlay from last Saturday's show would have hit if not for that field goal. Guys, he's sorry. Do you accept Lane Kiffin's apology?
No, that was absolutely criminal.
I don't accept it. It's not apology, not accepted.
No.
Apology, not accepted.
Me and Mikey were literally on Atlantic Ave in Delray at a bar watching that, just jaws on the floor as that meaningless field goal goes in. Absolutely criminal stuff. But we're back. We're back. Nice four-legger here, okay? This one feels good. I
like this one.
First leg, Notre Dame team total over 27.5 at-large bids need style points. I don't care what happens, what the spread is. They will be putting up points until the fourth quarter is over. So give me the over 27.5 and the Georgia Bulldog money line against Knoxville here. I do like the spread. We're going to play it safe. We got a nice 4-leg parlay. Don't overthink this one. Mikey, leg 3 and 4.
South Carolina money line. Keep it quick. We always need a minus 1,000 now. I feel like that's our trademark if we were superheroes. USC money line going right back to it. That's the scary one, too, by the way. USC money line at minus 1,600. That is the scary one.
Yeah, but we get close to plus 400 here again, all right? I feel good. We were so close last time, Emily. This is the one.
I hope that one hits this week. And if not, maybe some coaches will apologize. College football fans, all FanDuel customers get a shot to boost their winnings every Saturday. To claim your boost, apply it to your college football bet for even bigger winnings. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app by scanning that QR code and play your game.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger. Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise,
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City On. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Final hour of college football pregame presented by FanDuel. We will be rolling with you up until the noon kicks. We got so many games to talk about. One I feel like We've discussed the quarterback in this game, but not enough about the matchup between Arkansas and Ole Miss. Sounds like Austin Simmons, the starting quarterback for Ole Miss, is a game-time decision in an absolutely massive game in the SEC. This is a team that Mackenzie Brooks and the Sportsline team have in their college football playoff. So what's on the line for the Rebels in this one?
I did too in the preseason. I bought into a lot of Austin Simmons hype, and he struggled. He's already got 4 interceptions on the season, 2 last week. This is one of those situations where I don't know if it absolutely destroys Ole Miss if Austin Simmons doesn't play, because he hasn't been a difference maker. In fact, he's been more of a liability early. Long term, I want to see him healthy and want to see him to continue to develop. But Trinidad Chambliss is a very athletic quarterback. That's what I think they'll lean on more if Chambliss does go, is that run game. But I'm more curious about Ole Miss's defense, because Bobby Petrino has been a godsend for Sam Pittman, and Taylon Green has been compared to Lamar Jackson because Bobby Petrino coached Lamar Jackson all the way back at Louisville. I think this is one of those games where you could see a little bit of a track meet. I like the over in this one. Taylon Green, one of the only quarterbacks with 10 touchdown passes. He's been on fire, and he's a threat with his legs. This game should be fun.
You know, for me, even if Austin Simmons was healthy, right, we know he's a game-time decision, I still like the Razorbacks in this matchup because I think Taylon Green is the best quarterback in the SEC no one is talking about because of everything that Danny mentioned, not to mention the play caller in Bobby Petrino. He's very, very athletic. He sees the football field well. And the one key ingredient that I'm watching from Mr. Green, the confidence that he has displayed. You can tell he's not afraid of the moment, and this could be a coming out party for Taylon Green based on his skill set, and I believe the expectations they have for him, completing over 70% of his passes. He sees the football field as better than anyone in college football right now.
Yeah, and that might be, he might get that a sense of urgency from the coaching staff, because we know Arkansas, they haven't been where they wanted to be the last couple of years. Pittman, we've had the conversation about if he's on the hot seat or not. Well, maybe it's the head coach finally having a sense of urgency, developing Taylon Green, getting him to play with that confidence, with that swagger, with that mindset that we're in every game that we play as long as we play to who we are. Okay. And I think that that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a much improved Arkansas team, and for that reason, I like them today too. My biggest problem with Ole Miss and Austin Simmons is the turnovers. And I wonder if the complexity of the scheme, like we know that Lane Kiffin, he wants to just run and run and run. He wants it to be a track meet. He wants to put up 60 and 70 points. Well, is that expectation on Austin Simmons, a young quarterback, is it too much for him to handle? Is he forcing? Is he throwing into spots that he shouldn't be throwing the ball to? Is that why he has early turnover problems? Who knows? But whatever the case may be, they have to get that figured out if Ole Miss does want to get to the college football playoff, if they do want to continue to have success throughout the rest of their SEC schedule.
I drank the Kool-Aid on Austin Simmons. I love the story.
Yeah. I'm glad you admit it.
He already graduated from college. It's insane what he's done. Jackson Dart struggled early too. And this is totally normal, but he's got to start progressing, and we'll see if he does play. I would lean towards Arkansas with you guys if it was in Fayetteville. The fact that it's in Oxford, it is a tough road game for Taylon Green. That one has me leaning towards Ole Miss. But you talk about a signature win for Sam Pittman. That would be massive for him as somebody who really needs it.
Yeah, he got one last year against Tennessee, so can he get it again?
You remember that one.
I think I remember that game. I don't know. To your credit, 94 points were scored in this game last year between Arkansas and Ole Miss, so we could see an overhit there as well. Speaking of the Tennessee Volunteers and defense, we haven't talked enough about this Tennessee defense and them facing Gunnar Stockton and the Mike Bobo offense. What do we think of this Tennessee defensive line? Because last year it was rotating cast of characters were fantastic, but James Pierce Jr. is playing in the NFL now. Still have some talent, though, across the front.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the defensive line. They're going to have to elevate their level of play because their secondary is going through some issues with injuries. They got 2 starters out that aren't going to be on the field. And so with younger players in the secondary, the best way to give them an assist is to have a quarterback who's pressured, who doesn't have all day to throw the football. So this is where I think you're going to have to see that front 7 step up to the plate and make life a little bit difficult on Gunnar Stockton.
2 things in a matchup like today for Tennessee, right? You want to see from the front. Number 1, winning first down.
Yes.
You want to get Gunnar Stockton in the Georgia Bulldogs offense in second and third and long situations where it can help the inexperience that you have in the secondary in terms of backups filling in for starters. And secondly, tackling. when you talk about winning defenses, they tackle well. You don't see missed tackles. That's why when you look at some of the teams that we mentioned in highlighting the Georgia Bulldogs defensively, they've always been a very, very consistent tackling unit. So those are the two things I'm watching. You want to get long situations in second and third down, and you want to make sure you get the ball carrier down, because missed tackles lead to yak for opposing offenses that will lead to extended drives and getting into the red area.
And I want to add to that just the element of playing complementary football. Like, I know we're talking specifically about Tennessee's defense, but they're going to need help from the offense. They're going to need help from special teams. Like, Bill Belichick used to always talk about playing complementary football. Listen, if the offense goes down and they get to the 50-yard line and they've got a punt, okay, well, then you lean on the special teams unit to get a good punt, get them in bad field position. Then you rely on your defense to get a good stop, get you back in good field position. Now you're in a more advantageous place to go down the field and score. So I think for Tennessee, as much as it's going to be for the defense and the defensive line, this is just going to be a full team effort, because we know this Georgia team is going to be good defensively. We know they're going to be good in the trenches, and we know that they are very, very well coached. So the margin for error is going to be slim in all three phases for Tennessee. But if they play that complementary brand of football where the offense complements the special team complements the defense, and vice versa, you can have some success, and you might be able to beat Georgia today.
And the issue with that complementary football, Josh Heupel likes to go fast, which I love. I love teams that go fast and they go no huddle. The problem is, if you go 3 and out, it happens really fast, and that defense finds himself on the field all day, then they start to wear down, and Georgia just keep delivering those body blows to them all afternoon.
Georgia will be starting 2 offensive linemen who didn't play last week as well, going up against that Tennessee defensive front. Fourth component to the game that could help, too, is the noise at Neyland Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
That certainly helps your defense if quarterback cannot hear.
And golf balls and mustard bottles. Like, hopefully those stay in the stands this time, but we've seen it happen.
Yeah, let's keep those in the stands for this game. Another contentious rivalry that's happening in the SEC tonight. We've got LSU and Florida, and we spoke about Garrett Nussmeier and how we haven't seen enough from him. This guy's supposed to be a Heisman contender. So let's ask our quarterback, what more do you need to see from Nuss, especially in a big spot tonight?
I'd like to see him. I mean, he's been pretty pedestrian. He's been good enough.
Not bad, just not good enough.
Yeah, and he made some great plays in the second half of the game against Clemson. Had a touchdown that was called off the board and a controversial replay call. I think the big thing for Garrett Nussmeier is an offensive line, which is dealing with some injuries. There's some questions around their starting center. Is he going to go today? I still haven't seen an update to that. And this was an offensive line which already had questions coming into the season. So Garrett Nussmeier is more of a gunslinger mentality. I think this is where his leadership matters the most. I think his physical toughness, his mental toughness is going to have to be on display, because I think this might test his patience in what could be a lower scoring game, and turnovers will be of priority. If you remember, last year, Garrett Nussmeier got hit with the turnover bug against the better competition. Most of them were on the road. When he was at A&M, he had a couple bad interceptions. I think there was another game at South Carolina. He struggled a little bit. He's got to play cleaner today. And I would like to see them get the pass game going a little bit more today against the Florida Gators.
Real quick, the center for LSU, Braylon Moore, is good to go.
Okay, good.
Wonderful news. Well, I was going to add on to your point and say he did play bad in Death Valley also, because he had a bunch of turnovers against Ole Miss last year when they were playing at home. But my question to you, Danny, and this is a genuine question because you are our quarterback on set, do you think his pedestrianism so far, I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going to pretend pedestrianism is a word. We're expanding our vocabulary today. Do you think that is caused because of the talk, the concern, or even the self-scout evaluation of, I turned the ball over a lot last year and our team would be a lot better if I just kept it on our side?
I am sure that's been a conversation that's had, that Brian Kelly talked with him and said, hey, we don't have to go play that hero ball. You don't have to make a play every time. I mean, we've talked a lot on this set. What you tell young quarterbacks is it's okay to punt. It's okay to have a field goal. It's okay to take a sack. You just cannot turn the football over. And this is a tricky spot, because you want your gunslinger still to have that mentality, to want to take those shots down the field. But there's always a risk reward that has to go through your mind as a quarterback. And in this game, that will be exponentially on display, because there are going to be opportunities to make some plays, and you don't want to hit those checkdowns when it's time to make the big play. I think he'll manage it just fine, but you don't want to get in trouble either.
You know who we haven't mentioned yet? The quarterback on the other side, who's making his first road SEC start. What a way to do it. Death Valley at night. B-Mac, what's your take on this early season for DJ Lagway?
You know, we talked about Garrett Nussmeier. I think DJ and Garrett, they're in the same neighborhood in terms of underachieving in 2 weeks of play. Garrett came in with a lot of expectations in terms of the Heisman consideration, just being one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and he hasn't really lived up to the billing. In terms of DJ, he wasn't in that Heisman conversation, but many felt like he can really emerge to be a high-level quarterback throughout his collegiate career, especially this year, based on how he ended the season, and we haven't really seen that. The major concern for me with DJ is not seeing the football field well. Making the routine plays happen routinely, missing easy open opportunities, and just not throwing with confidence. And the thing that really confused me a week ago against South Florida, they had the matchup in their favor in the trenches. They just decided to efface the running game out of their game plan and just throw. It was almost like they were trying to force stats on DJ instead of just going through the game plan and working what will work for you organically. So now on the road, will they rely more on the running game, or will they put more of the pressure on DJ arm to be able to bail them out? And that's what we saw last week. It didn't work in their favor.
One thing I do want to say really quickly that we have not addressed is the fact that, we're all sitting here talking about how much LSU could beat Florida by. We're not talking about this could be a trap game for LSU.
Yeah.
Because when you go into a game and you think, okay, we just got to not lose it. We just got to not put ourselves in bad positions. Florida, a team, they're probably pissed off because they just lost to USF. They have absolutely nothing to lose. They've got everything to gain, where LSU, they've got everything to lose. I'm not saying that Florida's going to win. I'm not going to say that this is going to give them any type of advantage in the game. I'm just saying we all know as players that's a recipe for a setup for LSU.
You know what DJ looks like to me? Somebody who missed an entire spring and a lot of training camp. Remember, that has mattered. He does not look like he's on the same page or has that sort of rhythm with his receivers because he didn't practice very much.
That's something that Napier actually said this week, too, is that the shoulder, hamstring, groin, core injuries, all of those that kept him out the offseason did affect some things. Well, in this day and age of all the transfer portal movement, having to face your old squad is pretty likely. And tonight we've got the Mensa Bowl. Duke taking on Tulane. A closer look at the quarterback and what's at stake. That's next.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect this city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash at City High. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And that's
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tong skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Get ready for big time on CBS. It's USC at Purdue, 3:30 on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. Your favorite crew, Jenny, Brad, and the pride of Purdue, Gary Danielson, are on the call and have more.
All right, we got USC at Purdue, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Let's start with this USC squad. So we have Jaden Mayava coming over, looking statistically incredible the first 2 weeks. Granted, you look at the competition he was facing, but what are your expectations today?
Yeah, I don't have to look at the stats. We saw him in last year's games playing against big competition. We know what his future is. He was freshman of the year at UNLV. This is a highly trained quarterback. I predict he's going to have a breakout year. You know, I mean, he's the real thing, and he's got a good offensive coach in Lincoln Riley. I think USC's found their guy.
When we talked to Lincoln this week, he said he was so raw when he came in. He could see that the potential was there, but he really didn't know how to read defenses and all that type of thing that Gary's more aware of than I am. But he says that he's coming around that way, and that's going to make him pretty special this year.
Thinking of the Trojans, there's such high expectations when you look at it, especially when you have a coach like Lincoln Riley out there, and it seems that they have not quite found their ways quite yet. Could this be their year?
I think they're better. I think their schedule works in their favor. They're going to build as the season goes along. I think they're tougher inside than the defensive line. I think they have more depth than they had a year ago, but tough league. You got to win a lot of games. For them to emerge, you know, as a top 3, 4, second place, first place team in the Big Ten, they're going to have to take a big leap.
And they're going to have to win on the road. That's something they didn't do last year. 1-4 on the road. They had leads in all the games that we did, and most of the games they played in the Big Ten couldn't hold them in the fourth quarter. So those are two things they're going to have to take care of.
So many close games last year. All right, let's turn our attention now to Purdue. We spent some time with Barry Odom yesterday in production meetings. What were some of your biggest takeaways?
Well, first of all, Barry is so solid, and he knows how to put a team together, and he knows this is a work in progress. But he looks forward to playing against a good football team to measure where he is. I said, I've been asked, is this team, how good are they compared to last year's? He goes, we're going to find out. I do think they're better. I think they're more disciplined. Are they ready for this level of competition? Hey, Boilermakers, been done before.
You know, they've won twice as many games as they did last year, so they're off to a good start. But 54 transfers, that's the most in the country. It's really hard to pull a group together like that. But if there's a guy we think that can do that in a short amount of time, it's Barry. He's done a good job so far.
And I know people keep referencing what happened last year, and Barry made it very clear that that has not been part of the conversation whatsoever. They have not talked about last year. This is an entire new team, fresh start so far, off to a good start. And the quarterback at the helm over there, Ryan Brown, very impressive kid when you sit down and chat with him. What do you like about his abilities?
I think really mature, but I also think he's a good athlete. He's trying to become a better quarterback, not just a guy who runs first. I think he's committed to that. I think for Purdue to be what they want to be, he's going to have to be more mature in the pocket than he was a year ago. But talking to him, he said that's goal number one, so we'll find out.
Interesting trip for him. He transferred to North Carolina, and after spring ball came back to Purdue. He said, I'm coming back home. He's back home today against USC. It'll be fun to watch him.
Someone else is back home as well. Gary Danielson back home here at Purdue. We're excited to celebrate you here. When you just think about your time over your years here, what sticks out the most?
Just some of the great people I met here. You know, this is a great community to go to school, to play sports. Back in my day, I think it still is. I think people that Purdue has touched have been better people. I know I am, and everything I have is because of those guys back there, so I'm really proud of them.
You maybe should have mentioned Christy.
Oh, your wife.
She knows. She knows.
She knows. Well, I'm going to mention it. They don't know at HQ.
I said everything I have.
He married the athletic director's daughter, for crying out loud.
Hey.
Lived in the basement. I mean, he never paid rent.
I know, but if there was, at CBS, there's no one else to meet. I mean, I got this job on my own.
Wow. All right, enough of that. You can watch us all 3:30 p.m. Eastern today on CBS.
Oh, my goodness. That is so precious. I love that crew. I'm looking forward to that game. I know that you are as well. You got to speak with Lincoln Riley, and I think the most interesting part of that conversation was how they prepare for a team like Purdue that has over 50 new players. How do you do it?
You watch the first 2 games. At least they have that personnel-wise. But then you have to go back and actually watch Barry Odom some tape from UNLV from last season to try to see every different thing that he's used defensively, and you look and see if there's any correlation and tie into what they're doing this season. That can be incredibly challenging. I did want to mention, and Gary said, and I agree with him, that Lincoln Riley feels like he's found his guy. Because last year was Miller Moss started the season. They went to Jaden Mayava later in the season. I think those games that he started were really, really valuable for his experience to get him under their belt. He was 3-1 as the starter, and then all off season, you knew who your guy was going to be, and you had a guy, most importantly, that you felt like you could win with. And he's got some weapons. Mekhi Lemon, their wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, they get so much attention as these top receivers in the country, deservedly so. Mekhi Lemon needs to be in that discussion as well. He's a stud.
He was a top 50 player coming out of his class, so no secret coming out of high school. Okay, how about that? Some high praise there. Jaden Mayava, of course, playing against his former coach, Barry Odom, back when he was at UNLV. We got another situation kind of like that with the Darian Mensah Bowl. Welcome back. That's so nice of them to welcome Darian Mensah back there. Tulane and Duke. Interesting part about this game.
Wait,
Tulane,
we're doing that, right? They're not doing that. Just to be clear.
No.
Just to be clear.
No, we're being kind here. Yes. I'm sure that they remember their time with him fondly, but Tulane is favored to win this game. It's a 1.5-point spread. Does that surprise you with this Duke team they're bringing in?
Well, it doesn't, because when I look at Tulane, I look at one guy, and that's going to be Jake Retzlaff, quarterback that transferred from BYU. And what is he doing? He's doing exactly what he did that made BYU so good. He's leading the team in passing, he's leading the team in rushing, and he brings an energy and a passion for the game that you have to respect and appreciate. And the guys around him are playing that way. Listen, Tulane was a fringe college football playoff team last year. Then you add one of the most underrated quarterbacks, one of the toughest, grittiest quarterbacks in the country to your roster. I'm not surprised that they're a favorite in this game.
Duke better win this game for the ACC. The ACC has had a rough start in the non-conference.
That conference needs that win. So we get some kindness in that game, but no kindness in the backyard brawl. You might remember this will be Rich Rod's first brawl since that infamous one back in 2007 where they lost to Pitt, knocking them out of the national championship game, and then Rich Rod left 2 weeks later. He spoke about remembering that game. Let's listen.
Is it a sore spot when it's brought up? Yeah. I mean, so thanks for that, Bob. But no, it is. I mean, it was the worst moment of my professional career from a game standpoint, and you know, I tried to move past it a long time ago. So, but. From that regard, it'd be good to get a win. It's not going to ease the pain from that. It'll still always be there. But every place has a rivalry. You know, at Arizona, it was the in-state thing, and Michigan, Ohio State, obviously that one. But I've told people everywhere I've been that I've been in a bunch of rivalries. There's none that's more intense than this.
Wow, worst moment of his professional career. That sticks with you.
I was going to say, that would have been a flag.
Yeah, you guys are looking at the hit there. Danny, what's the significance of this game in your mind?
Oh, this is just, so my dad went to Pitt, so I kind of grew up on the backyard brawl, a game that we tune into and watch. It is one of the more underrated because we lost it for a while. It is great that it is back. I saw they extended it, so we're going to get it even more. It is an outstanding rivalry. Morgantown is not that far from Pittsburgh. It's very close, so this will be an absolutely electric atmosphere.
And I remember that 2007 game that they were talking about. I was in Pittsburgh with the Steelers at that time, and the city was going crazy because of that upset. I mean, it is very, very intense. You talk about some of the historical rivalries in college football. I think that's one of the more heightened, under-the-radar rivalries in college football, to your point, because of the tradition and the pageantry and just the good old-fashioned hate that both schools have.
There may not be a rivalry with a better name. I mean, the backyard brawl.
It is.
It's the 108th backyard brawl as well. So you talk about those historic rivalries. Doesn't get much bigger than that. How about Vanderbilt at number 11, South Carolina? Vandy is used to being disrespected. But man, in this spot, BMAC, are we not giving the Doors enough credit for what they've done this season so far?
No, we're not. We're not. They're not ranked, but they're playing a different brand of football that we haven't seen associated with the Commodores. And usually, guys, when you talk about having a ranked versus an unranked team, it's not a statement game. But this is a statement game for South Carolina. If you are who we think you are, you find a way to take care of your business
right there at the crib. What we saw last week, they played with their food a little bit. Got off to a slow start against South Carolina State. Lenore Sellis was struggling a little bit. They didn't run the football well, but they found a way to win. If you get off to a slow start against Vandy, you might not get that car rolling at any given time. They're coming in with upset on their mind, and they have the belief and they play with the confidence that they can compete against any team in the SEC. So this is a very, very important game. Like I said, you don't usually say it's a statement game when you talk about a ranked versus an unranked team, but for South Carolina, this is a statement game.
They have a common opponent, too. They both played Virginia Tech, and I thought Vanderbilt looked like the better team against that common opponent. Yeah. They outscored Virginia Tech 34-0 after trailing 20-10, and this is a team that believes. You mentioned the respect. It opened at 6.5, and now the odds comes all the way down to 3.5.
Movement.
There's a lot of backers in Vanderbilt. I'm a believer. I think they pull off the upset.
Yeah, Vanderbilt did that in Blacksburg, too.
Yeah.
South Carolina played on a neutral site.
Yeah.
Needed a special teams touchdown. You know all about the damage that Vanderbilt did.
Are we going there,
Too soon.
Are we going there?
Too soon.
Just kick him while he's down. We just lost to FSU. Y'all was reminded about that as soon as we got on set. That we like,
I'm
come
just
on.
saying, those doors can sneak up on you, especially if you got a killer like Diego Pavia.
When you don't respect your opponent, that's what happens. You get punched in the mouth.
That's what happens. All right, we got a big game on CBS Sports Network between Utah and Wyoming. Utah ranked number 20, but I don't know. There's some people saying that Devon Dampier can lead this team to potentially the postseason. What say you?
He has been great so far. He came into Utah with his offensive coordinator from New Mexico, Jason Beck, and he has been the best part about it. We knew what he could do. He's a 1,000-yard rusher at his previous stop, so we knew he could run the football. But his previous stop, he was 12 interceptions with 12 touchdowns. He's been clean, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions so far this year. He is electric. We had the Heisman odds before. I think they're the best team in the Big 12. If they win the Big 12, then I think Devon Dampier is a very legit Heisman contender. He is a playmaker at that position. And then with Kyle Whittingham, you sort of look at the defense, and they may not have superstars, but they always are physical, and they bring that sort of lunch pail to work type of mentality. You know, we're talking about Virginia Tech, maybe that's why it's in there. But they very much come with a physical mindset.
The Big 12, low-key, is going to be a very, very entertaining conference when you talk about Utah, looking at what Iowa State has been doing, not to mention Texas Tech, because they're the big spenders in the Big 12. So many people believe they will have a say-so in how everything works itself out. But I think it's going to be an entertaining race throughout Big 12.
Yeah, we've got Utah and Texas Tech next week. So we'll have time to talk about that big matchup. But got to give Wyoming some credit here, guys. Since 2016, they're 3-1 against ranked opponents. So they love to play spoiler. And this one is in Laramie. You can watch it on CBS. Number 20 Utah at Wyoming on CBS Sports Network at 8 Eastern. We're getting so close to noon kickoffs, I can almost taste it. So let's get you ready for the first set of games. Stick with us. You are watching CBS Sports HQ.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I have sway in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, mother...
Dexter.
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 What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago.
Street's always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's a massive clash of City on. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that touchdown.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tongue skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
30 minutes away from noon kicks. Finish whatever you're doing. Get to a television. There's Bryce Underwood running onto the field, getting ready to face Central Michigan, looking to rebound after that loss on the road to Oklahoma.
Yellow socks.
Else, what do you think of the yellow
socks?
No, not the move?
The maize socks ain't it.
Yes,
No.
we should be very
Maize socks
specific
ain't it.
about that.
I'm sorry.
Elsewhere in the Big Ten, coming off a perfect 12-0 season last year, the Oregon Ducks, they've won 20 straight games during the regular season. It's a program record and the longest active streak in FBS, hoping to keep it alive on the road at Northwestern. Our meteorologist, Danny Cannell, is telling us that there is some weather coming off of Lake Michigan.
I saw some clips. Looked a little rainy, looked a little windy. I tell you, I don't know what.
Windy in Chicago?
Yeah,
What?
always coming off that lake. It'll be interesting to see how Dante Moore handles that.
And it's a 12 noon kickoff,
yeah,
too.
sleepy environment. They're coming off that big win. I think they'll be fine. I may or may not have liked the points and laid them 27.5 versus Northwestern.
Okay.
But this would be another opportunity. Dan Lanning feels like they are on a mission after getting completely forgotten about what they did. They were perfect in the regular season and Big Ten champs, undefeated. Everyone's written them off because they got blown out in the Rose Bowl. I think he is very angry about that, and they're taking out some of their frustration early in the season on some of their opponents.
I would hate to be Northwestern on a day like today. Right? Does it just feel like that's just what Dan Lanning is doing, is taking advantage of some of these early season opponents? But we're all circling that Penn State game a little bit later on in this season. Elsewhere, we have number 13, Oklahoma at Temple. What do you hope to see from John Mateer after a absolutely massive early win last week against Michigan?
I would love to see him continue on the trajectory he's on. I mean, when you're playing at a level that John Mateer is playing on, the worst thing you can do is start to disappear and just start to not show up, and then you lose the ability to run with your legs or make those dynamic throws on the run. Don't lose that, because you've got Oklahoma in a really, really good spot right now. Their defense, they're always going to be good. They're coached by Brent Venables. I played against him myself. There's not a defensive scheme that he comes up with that is not tough to deal with. But again, looking at John Mateer, he's been a superstar for Oklahoma, both with his legs and with his arm, and that's very synonymous with the Oklahoma quarterback position. They've had Heisman Trophy winners. They've had #1 picks. They've had guys win the Super Bowl. I mean, he is looking to become a part of that illustrious list, and all he has to do is just keep playing at the same level he has been.
Yeah, just follow the Cam Ward path, right?
That's right.
You play at Washington State, and you transfer to a Big Ten program, then you get selected #1 overall in the NFL draft. We'll see what happens.
I'd love to see them work on his pass game a little bit more. He's been he was so effective as a runner against Michigan. Knowing the schedule they have ahead of him, I'd like to see him manage him a little bit, try to keep him healthy, and work on that pass game in a game like this.
All right, also we've got Wisconsin at number 19, Alabama. I guess I'll go ahead and ask our resident former Tide here. So what is the biggest storyline, do you think, heading into this game? Because you look at the spread, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be a close one, but Alabama still needs to exercise some demons.
Yeah, the biggest storyline, I'm gonna copy my former or my Alabama brother and AJ McCarron. Where the hell is Ryan Williams?
Yeah.
Where the hell is Ryan Williams? Do we need to put out a missing person report? Do we need to alert the authorities? Because, my brother, I'm going to go back to the Florida State game because that's the only tape I got of you so far. But AJ, he sat up here and said a lot of things. To me, he looked out of shape. He looked bigger than what he needs to be. He didn't look confident. There was one time, Danny, I think I remember I was standing with you and we were watching a play where Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams couldn't connect on a 3-yard slant down in the red zone. And we sat there and we talked about how coaches that we played for would have sat there and said, you're supposed to be our 2 best players. And we're running a simple 3-step slant with our best receiver, our best player on the team is going to get open and catch the football. If that does not happen, what can we run? What can we do? If we look to our fearless leader and he does not show up and he disappears. He hasn't had a 100-yard game since Georgia. He hasn't had a touchdown since, what was it, Mercer last year? I mean, we're going back 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way back to the Georgia game last year. Listen, I love the fact that Alabama looked good last week against a high school football team. What I don't like is the fact that I don't know what's up with Ryan Williams. I don't know if he's going to come back and are we going to get the version of him that we saw at the beginning of last year, or is he going to come back and then be the same Ryan Williams we saw against Florida State? Because at that point, it's not worth coming back. I hate to be so blunt and honest, but you were a non-factor, my brother, against Florida State. You are a non-factor. So if you are going to come back and continue to be a non-factor, well, then you might as well take the Jamar Chase route. Just sit out and then wait to go pro. I mean, I hate that y'all got me worked up here because I promise you I didn't want to, but I missed a week after the Alabama-Florida State game. So I got a lot of pent-up stuff on my chest. I'm not going to let it all out, but I am going to say, Ryan Williams, brother, I've talked to you on the sideline personally. I've talked to you. I know you. Nah, I'm not going to say I know you like I know you like some of my boys, but I know you well enough. I've heard you say the right things. You're a great young man. You got a great smile. You do a lot of things well. We need to see you deliver on the football field more than we see you deliver on TikTok and on Instagram and on Snapchat. Get on the field, be the leader, be the best player on the football field, not just for Alabama today, on the football field. End of quote.
He is expected to play today, coming off that concussion.
You talked about the Florida State game, and when I watched that game, Danny, what Florida State did to Ryan, not just to Ryan, but the entire wide receiver core for Alabama was they touched them up. They were hitting. They were physical. They made sure when they got to the point of the tackle, they instilled their will in tackling them. And we didn't see Ryan kind of handle that physical nature as best as we thought he would handle. And the same can be said for the entire wide receiver unit. So to your point, you know something about football. We all played at a high level. Anytime you put something bad out there for the football world to see, be prepared to see it every week until you make it right. So now if you're playing against Alabama, hit their wide receivers. When they try to run those bubble screens, run through their chests.
Hit them.
Until you see that they welcome that type of brutality, because clearly they couldn't handle that against Florida State. And if I'm Wisconsin, make sure you put that Rydell on them. And we all know what the Rydell is.
You a defensive guy. In some of those situations, you'll be okay with a penalty if you too aggressive. You okay if you've got guys that are committed to letting Ryan Williams know this ain't gonna be a walk in the park. We're gonna hit you play after quarter after quarter. We're gonna make you earn. We're going to see how many times you can get up off the canvas. I will take a 5-yard penalty. I'll take a 15-yard penalty, or maybe even 2 if I'm Wisconsin, and I'm sending a message to Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard and all these receivers from Alabama that don't like this contact and this physical nature. I mean, when have we heard that? When have we heard that?
I will just say this. They did win last week.
They did.
They did put up 70. The quarterbacks threw 7 touchdowns combined, 0 interceptions. They were 29 of 33. I thought Alabama let out some frustration. I want to see that frustration continue. I think they should handle their business against Wisconsin. I like them to win big today. Wisconsin's starting a backup quarterback in Danny O'Neal. I think, and I'm not willing to just throw Alabama away just yet. I still think their roster is talented enough to win the SEC. To me, I want to see them prove that they can do what they did last week against a better team.
To Danny's point, I like them to win big also. They're at home. I think they're going to show up and play outstanding football, and they need to.
I love for them to win big. But again, everything.
They do need to be called out.
And Danny, everything that you just said, I love, because, you know, to have Danny Cannell sit up here and bang the table for Alabama and SEC team, I agree with all of that. But again, when we look at the rest of the schedule, it's not going to get any easier. So everything I just said about Ryan Williams, it's not me throwing the towel in and saying he's not a good football player and we don't need him. Because, brother, we sure as hell do. But we need the you that's going to make everybody around you better, especially your quarterback.
I know you you have all eyes on this game, but I've got to say the best game of this noon window has got to be between Clemson and Georgia Tech. What happens in this game, Danny?
Ooh, I think this will be a little higher scoring.
Okay.
I think Cade Klubnik, last time he was here, he threw 4 touchdown passes in Atlanta. He started awful against Troy last week, but he finished the game 10 of 11, did bring them from behind. This, to me, is sort of, we're about to find out if Clemson is a total fraud or if they're legit, because this is a game that they should be able to go on the road and handle their business. Now, the thing that worries me for Clemson is Haynes King is a playmaker. We saw him take Georgia to overtime last year. He's expected to play today. Buster Faulkner, their offensive coordinator, is a mastermind at exploiting your weaknesses. And I would say, we've talked about Cade Klubnik earlier in the show, the Clemson defense, which we heard so much about the first-round talent that was on that defensive line, they need to step up to the plate and show that they can shut down this offense.
That's what I'm watching in this ball game. The pros, the NFL prospects they have on the defensive front, finding a way to neutralize Haynes King. You know exactly what you're going to get from Georgia Tech offensively. A bunch of misdirection plays along with the quarterback running the football. And he does so in a very, very difficult, annoying way to watch as a fan because it's so slow motion. It takes his time, but yet and still, he's very, very effective in his running style, and they love getting him going. So to your point, Clemson, this is a must-win for Clemson. We talked about Notre Dame and being this must-win type scenario. It's the same for Clemson. They cannot afford to have 2 losses in 3 weeks of play. They got to find a way to win, and it starts and it stops with the big guys who put their hand in the dirt.
And I love the fact that you guys are just talking about Clemson because it opens up the door for me to talk about Brent Key and Georgia Tech because if I'm not mistaken, they live for games like this. Granted, they came up so short against Georgia in 8 overtimes, but they did beat Miami at home. Brent Key is able to get Haynes King, this team rallied up for these big-time games. And this isn't going to be anything different. I think that they're playing at home. They're going to have the energy of the crowd because Georgia Tech, they've got more fans. They've got more ruckus in their stadium than what I would have anticipated. And I think that has to do with the way Brent Key has turned this program around and how much everybody loves Haynes King. Not just for his slow, molasses-like runs down the field, but because of his toughness. Now, I'll ask you two guys, Emily, you included, how many times have we watched a Georgia Tech game where Haynes King looks beat to shreds, he looks like he's dragging himself up and down the field, somebody's got to pick him up, put his arm around him to get him in the huddle, and he delivers. Time after time after time.
He's essentially Rocky of college football.
He is. Rocky Balboa of college football.
He finds a way to come through.
And he wasn't able to play last week because he was injured in that first game. No passing touchdowns for him yet, but 3 rushing touchdowns. Apparently, he's fun to watch run the football. Hopefully you're having fun watching this show. We're getting close to the end, which means it's time to give you our parlay. Didn't hit last week. I'm feeling good about this week, though. We'll see. Stick with us.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
No. That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger.
Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter. What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shot. All episodes now streaming on the Paramount Plus premium plan.
They're underway, and there's a massive clash of City On. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tong skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Attention college football fans, all FanDuel customers get a shot to boost their winnings every Saturday. All you got to do is claim your boost and apply it to your college football bet for a shot at even bigger winnings. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now and play your game. Time for our parlay party, and it didn't hit last week. I don't know why. I don't have the stats. I'm sorry, I can't tell you. So we're just going to move on to this week. I'm going to start us off with, I'm going to take the under in the Tennessee-Georgia game. It's 49.5. That number has gone below in the last 3 meetings. We talked about we're not quite some numbers too. We're not quite sure with this Joey Agalar offense against this Georgia defense. Still not a true believer in Gunnar Stockton yet in this early season, so I think this could be a little bit of a slugfest in Knoxville.
Nice pick. I am, if y'all are ready, give me the Ohio State cover. Give me Ohio State cover. Because listen, we talked about this earlier, and I will go on record saying it again. Ryan Day, you have an incredible ability to get your team up for games like this. It just so happens to be better than the ability you have to get them up for the game against Michigan. So with that being said, we're not talking about Michigan right now. We'll worry about that later on in the season. But I expect a big win because Ohio State, they always win big when
Do you remember what I had earlier? I had 28.
Yeah.
I'll root for yours, though. I want yours to win.
Wow. I'm going with a big number here, too. I'm going with USC minus the 20.5, 21.5, wherever you can find it. I still feel good about it. Not only do I think this is a Mayava Heisman situation we could be seeing, I think he wants to stat pad here on a big primetime stage. But Purdue, I mean, the average score was like 9-41 against teams with a pulse last year at home. They were 0-5 straight up, 0-5 against the spread against these teams. So I think they're better. I don't think they're that much better than last year.
For me, I'm going to the ACC, primetime matchup in the ACC. We talked about it. Georgia Tech hosting Clemson. I'm taking the Tigers lane 2 in the hook, and here's why. This is a must-win. They cannot afford to have another slip-up in their schedule. If they have playoff aspirations, I do believe Dabo Swinney will have his best effort in terms of coaching. The physical nature will be there, and all they need to do is win by 3 points. I do see a close-scoring game, but I think Clemson will have enough to be able to cover this spread. Give me the Tigers 2 in the hook.
I'm going to stay with this primetime matchup, as you called it, if you're in London, because I think that's where it's 7 o'clock. It is a noon kick. It is a noon kick.
It's a prime matchup.
It is a prime matchup, and I lean with you. I think Clemson will reassert themselves, but I'm going to look at the total. I want to root for some points in this one. I think Cade Klubnik finally gets it going. He started to get it feel a little bit better against Troy. He had a good game here last time I mentioned that. And watch out for Georgia Tech because Buster Faulkner finds a way to put up points. Did you like running the counter when you were running?
Oh, come on now.
They are masters of running the counter. They have like a zillion different ways to run it. Brent Key is a former offensive line coach. He loves designing it. I think they put up points. I think it's a little bit more of a shootout. It's pretty low, 51.5. It's going to go over.
So ACC, Danny, to be like, oh, yeah, you know, Cade Klubnik really got it going against Troy. He really figured it out. Like, my God.
Last time he was in Atlanta.
No upset picks.
Oh, yeah,
I guess we
really
saved that all for week 2. We like the favorites and the totals. A reminder to college football fans that FanDuel customers get a shot to boost their winnings every Saturday. Claim the boost, apply it to your college football bet for a shot at even bigger winnings. Scan that QR code, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's time to pick some games. That's what we'll do next. Do not go anywhere. You are watching CFB Pregame on CBS Sports HQ.
Here we we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
This could be the greatest opportunity in my life, and it comes with danger. Well, I bet ain't nobody seen that coming.
Tulsa King, new season streaming September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Warden, I swear in these walls.
This is my castle now. Do we understand each other?
Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back, even after everything that happened. So much for second chances, eh?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again. Has to happen.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Dexter.
What do you think? Tonight's the night.
Stream every Dexter episode ever, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Give me 5. Now, down low.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
This is Chicago. Streets always gonna have a villain.
To protect the city, we have to do something. Women, it's time to get to work.
The Shy. All episodes now streaming of the Paramount Plus Premium plan.
They're underway, and there's some massive clash of City on. Superb finish.
Unbelievable strike.
And then surely they score that tornado.
Watch Serie A all season long, streaming on Paramount Plus.
You can't count on Derek's tonk skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Final block here in college football pregame presented by FanDuel. Let's pick some of these football games. Primetime matchup coming up here in about 5 minutes between Clemson and Georgia Tech. Who you got, Dave?
We had a little discussion about this on break. I'm going with Georgia Tech. I'm going with the upset. Listen, I love Haynes King. I love Brent Key. I had a conversation with Danny Cannell, and he said he was a little concerned about Georgia Tech after the way Colorado looked last night against Houston. Here's what I'll say to that. Haynes King knows how to make any football game look ugly. Don't he, B-Mac? He knows how to make any football game look ugly. All that matters is that you get a W. I think it's going to be ugly. I would take the under, but I like Georgia Tech to pull off the upset today.
I respect this. Like, I do think Georgia Tech, if anything, can at least cover this game. I also think it will be an ugly game, but ultimately, like, Clemson literally needs this game and this win, in my opinion. I do think they eventually pull it out.
Clemson, for me, desperation. They can't afford to lose.
Clemson's still the favorite to win the ACC to the odds makers. I still think they're pretty good. They'll have to prove it today, but I think they do.
All right, Lone Wolf.
That's all right.
Damien. Okay.
That's all right. It's nice and cozy over here.
I like it.
It's cozy over here.
All right. How about South Florida at Miami? Who wins this game?
It's a good matchup right here. I'm going with the Canes. I think Carson Beck looks really, really good right now. And again, I think Mario Cristobal is tired of the conversation about not having anything to show for the success that he has had for the players that he's been able to have and coach. I think Miami gets it done today.
Do you think South Florida covers?
You think, we're taking the spread here.
Yeah,
You've got him
that's right. That's right. Our producer did tell me if it's more than a touchdown. I do think USF covers the spread.
Okay.
I do.
I super don't think they cover this spread. I really, and listen, I don't like to give Miami their flowers. I don't like to give Carson Beck his flowers, but this is a really, really good spot for them, just in the trenches alone. And you think about how South Florida won those past 2 games, again, against Boise State. A lot of things went their way in that Florida game, and I also don't like to support Florida, but I'm just being truthful to myself here. I do think Miami covers.
I'm on the opposite side. I'm taking South Florida. I took them last week when they were getting 17.5. I got heckled. I'm taking them again because, yes,
probably from Mackenzie.
Mackenzie's right. Mackenzie's right. You talk about the dominance in the trenches, but guess what that does? That slows the ball game down. I think Miami will lean on the running game because that makes all the sense in the world. We're not talking about South Florida winning the ball game. We're talking about covering 17.5. That's all I need. And Mr. Brown, he will find a way to make things happen with his legs. Like I said, he's the Lenore Sellers or their offense. Give me the Bulls taking 17.5.
One thing that concerns me for South Florida, they only pressured DJ Lagway 3 times last week. DJ Lagway didn't take advantage of it. I think Carson Beck can and will. But Mario Cristobal, he loves to go in that 4-minute drill early. And they have big games coming up against Florida and Florida State. I think they shut it down. I think they try to just get out of there. I think they win, but USF covers.
All right, Georgia, a 4.5-point favorite on the road at Tennessee. I have been asked to pick this game, but before I do, real quick, if Tennessee wins, I'm going to see you in orange next week in Lincoln. If Georgia wins, I will represent your dogs. Fair. I think we're too far to shake hands. We don't officially shake. As for my pick for this game, I don't know if you guys knew this, but back in the day, Joey Agalar almost became a fireman. He did not think that college football was in his future. He has worked his way up the ranks. He is now starting in a ranked SEC game in one of the most electric environments in the country. He's playing with house money. He cannot lose. He's not going to lose. He's going to cover this 4.5-point spread. Give me the balls.
Emily, what a touching story and tribute you just gave. But that ain't going to save him today because the dogs, they'll get after him. And I think it's just the defensive front. I mean, I think Tennessee's defense, I think they match up well with Georgia's offense because we haven't seen a lot from Gunnar Stockton yet. But I think the Georgia defense is going to be too much, too early, too often. It's going to be too much pressure. Georgia gets it done.
What a smart, awesome, handsome man next to me here. Yeah, I'm going to go with the dogs here. Listen, we haven't even seen this offense explode yet, and I know maybe there's some fear that they haven't in the past 2 weeks. I don't think Kirby Smart really cared to show anyone anything the past 2 weeks, quite frankly. You have Tennessee without their best 2 cornerbacks, which we kind of forget about here. I think this is such a prime Kirby Smart, shut the media up type of energy. Give me the dogs and the spread.
The trend is your friend. And the trend that works in favor with the Tennessee Volunteers, they've won 9 straight there at the house, right? Since 2022, they're 21-1. That is a massive trend. I'm not saying I expect the Volunteers to outright win. But it's about covering the spread, 4 in the hook.
You know who covers the spread? Georgia the past 4 games against Knoxville.
Yeah, that one is Georgia, unfortunately.
21-1.
Joey Agalar is on fire. Kirby Smart has the fire extinguisher today.
Don't use that against me. That's supposed to be a happy story.
I still like the dogs.
What color is fire, then? I don't know. Orange. I'm trying to bring it back all together. Exactly. All right, let's do one more pick here. Texas A&M, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the favorite. 6.5-point spread. What you got?
Give me the Irish.
I'm going with Irish here as well, big time.
Irish.
Irish, get it done.
All right, there you go. Week 3 of college football is about to kick. We hope you enjoy all the action. And as always, keep it locked in here to CBS Sports HQ. We've got you covered throughout the day. Do not forget, it's big time. Game of the week, USC at Purdue. We'll get you ready for kick with a pregame show at 3 o'clock right here on HQ. And then you can flip it over to CBS at 3:30. Do not forget, we're taking the show on the road next week. Tallahassee, you were amazing. Lincoln, you're next. Join us at the Rail Yard for a live show that you can always watch right here on CBS Sports HQ from 9 to noon. And for daily college football coverage throughout the season, check out the Cover 3 podcast. After all the action today, they'll take you through it tonight for some instant reaction. Enjoy the games. Week 3 starts right now.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns and an epic matchup between the